This is the X&C Podcast, your Xbox newscast, featuring Colteastwood and Gaz, hosting industry interviews and gaming talk live on YouTube every Monday night at 5 p.m. on the West Coast, 8 p.m. on the East Coast. For all of you listening around the world, X&C Podcast is available on demand on Spotify, Google, and Apple Podcasts. Welcome to the show. Join the chat, hit the like button, and let's get into this week's topics with the Xbox newscast. Just deal and cope with it, baby. Just deal with it. Welcome to the X&C Podcast, episode 90. We're live enough as it is, but welcome everybody. Episode 90 of the podcast on YouTube, live on Colteastwood's channel and on Spotify and Apple Podcasts and other places. How are you, Gaz?
I'm good. How are you? Are you feeling great?
You're phantasmal?
Yeah, I am. I'm feeling great.
Just put you right over here. Yeah, we are excited to be here. We're obligated to be here because you guys are wonderful. Gaz, say hi to the chat. We got
What's up, people?
Million ways to die. Choose one.
So we can live and hit demonetize this mother.
Oh my gosh, that is one of my songs. That is one of my songs from back in the day. Oh my gosh. I remember that. I remember that song, Serial Killers. From Doggy
Killers.
Style. That song used to sound like it was going to sizzle my speakers away because it had so much high end. Oh, those were the days, guys. Those were the days.
I love that song. Wow.
Yeah, shout out to everybody. We've got almost 600 people just rolling in to hear about what in the world news is going on in the Xbox world. But before we go, I got to give a shout out to the channel member veterans and Patreon veterans in the top tiers, the upper echelons who have been keeping the studio lights on here on the channel. And Gaz, we are you've got like a couple more shows left.
I know.
Three more? Two more?
Two more
After this. Let me read out these names because I can do them so well. Mark Caldwell, KY Bob, Assassin Loop, Jazzy Newtbox, Murky Falon, Manic Master, Jason Luan, Moby, Matt Burns, William Lanza, Yodana Kizana, Nano Polymath, Suicide King, Robert Jackson, Lord Starkiller, Dante Moody, Betamax, Dark CMF, Gaz, Fox Storytelling, Reek Havoc's Fault Lines, Enter White, Devar R2 Remix, Gaming, VSim, Assassin Dub, Larry Thatcher, Hargeet, Johnny, TK Chilling, Raiden Blade, Cooper Spectre, Trooper 77, Risk It for the Biscuit, Micah Ford, Red Saurus, Dave UK01, Quinn's Harmony, Attitude Deer 2012, Pesky Krogan, Panda Bamboo, Trell Roberts, Scrub Nurse, Neil B, Bubba Fett Gaming, Macbound, my boy, and Meat Puppet 007. Thank you so much for supporting the channel. There, I've read it. It's running across the top of the screen. You guys are all fantastic. Gaz, tell us how you been. What have you been playing?
I've been playing pretty much a lot of things. I've been playing Hi-Fi Rush after Hogwarts Legacy was dank. That game is dank. That's way too dank than it should be. Because, movie tie-ins, they're always bad, right? Nope. Wrong. Oh, that's what I should have had in my sampler. Wrong. Charlie Murphy got me. Wrong. Sorry. Yeah, so I've been playing Hogwarts Legacy. And I've been playing Hi-Fi Rush. I was playing that today again. Hogwarts Legacy is so good. It's going to suck me into its world. So I've decided Hi-Fi Rush, which is great. Such a good game. Hi-Fi Rush, Dead Space remake, then that. Because then we've got an onslaught of games from next month. I can't catch up. It gets ridiculous now. I feel under serious pressure. I have 1 week in between, like in end of March and end of this month and March, and I'm going to just sit there and just play single player games if people leave me alone. It's going to be wicked. Yeah,
you do. It's pretty much you're doomed if you haven't finished the big games because they are all pouring in right now. Gaz has been with X&C Podcast for over 40 episodes. From what I could count. Probably more than that because you had guessed it a few times before you became a co-host for the show 8 months ago. So right before Starfield delayed, you had signed on to suffer through the show every week, and we even
hate me. They're like, "Oh, this piece of got this piece of on his show, and all they're doing is just making our life difficult by just complaining about everything. Well,
Yeah.
it was a time to complain, and now as things are looking up, I'm leaving. Yeah. So
I remember that day when Starfield delayed. I was like, Gaz, should we just do one today? And I went and got a 96 ounce of Mountain Dew, and we had a great show and talked about how Redfall and Starfield delayed. But you've been with us for 40 episodes plus. And a couple people in the chat are asking, why are you leaving? Like, what's going on? So reset for the audience. There's always new faces here.
Just new job stuff, man. It's getting really difficult, where more responsibilities, leading a team, a larger team, Monday, Tuesdays, and Thursdays. I'm mandated to go into work. It's getting crazy now, and it's a bit pressures on as well, because we're pretty much in a recession. I'm a lawyer. I'm a commercial property lawyer, so I deal with a lot of stuff that sometimes is affected by markets quite a bit, particularly in the retail space has been affected. So it's just been it's so hard. You don't understand people. Anyone in my field says, how do you do law and this at the same time? Because people don't sleep. They just sleep with the work, and I do the same thing. It's just really hard. I'm trying to find a balance. It's my dream to do this full time. This is my dream. The passion that me and you and all people in chat have, we could do this forever. We could do this forever. And it's a shame, but we've got to keep the lights on. Things are expensive. I had to do it. I had to take this big leap. I have to pay bills, the mortgages, everything. It's just, it's life stuff. But that doesn't mean I'm goodbye. It just means...
Shut the fuck up.
Oh, shit. That's not the one. I deleted that. That's not the one.
That actually works. There's a lot of podcasts out, and we've talked about this on this show and on other shows. Like, I was on RDX for like 4 years, every Monday or every Tuesday for 4 years. And when you leave, everyone's like, what happened? Do you guys hate each other? And people are like, what happened? Is Gaz going to the military? Does he hate Colt? And you and I were talking behind the scenes. I'm like, every
hate
week,
each other. Both our partners always just say, look, you two are just gay for each other. It's just constantly like, I'm so sad, bro, I'm leaving, and oh man. It's just nothing like that. It's just
there's always I was gonna say that every week I never forgot that I was keeping you up from 1 to 3 something. I said, Gaz, I know that when we wrap the show, you probably don't go right to sleep. So your Tuesday morning over there in the UK is completely messed up. And speaking of really messed up, I wanted to share a funny personal story. My mom's in town.
My
mom came to visit, and one of the reasons why she came to visit was my great aunt, who I don't really see my whole life much, passed away. And so my brother and I went with my mom to pay respects at the funeral service on Saturday. And the funeral service went kind of long. It was really, really nice, really, really good. And, sometimes you forget that funerals can be a really good experience with family members and a chance to remember the people you love. But classic Colt, I was sitting next to my brother. My brother's on this side of me. My mom's on this side of me. And I'm on my phone kind of flipping through, and I'm kind of cleaning out my image folder in my phone. And my brother's like bored, so he's looking at my lap watching my phone. And he comes across this ridiculous meme that, kids, Gaz and I will put each other's faces on celebrities. And while I'm flipping through my phone, it comes across this ridiculous meme, and I go, and my brother goes, and we're in this funeral, and I was pinching my nose so hard, like, be a man, you cannot laugh at this funeral. We were both cracking up. My mom elbows me. Felt like I was 12. It was so great. But we were dying. I don't know if you've ever been in one of those situations where you're not supposed to be laughing and you're screwed. You're over. Gaz, you've been there, right? Where you can't stop it.
So many moments. I remember one time in law school, we had this really horrible teacher, just really strict. I was never scared of teachers, but people were scream and shout at people. And she said something like, this person has all 3 fingers and all 3 pies. And in my head, all I can imagine was, I just don't know why. Just fingers in pie, not dirty. Just, and I just start bursting out laughing because my brain is like a Animaniac show. It's like a cartoon going on in my head, and I'm crying, and she is screaming at me like, "What is so funny?" I'm just like, trying to say what she's saying. She goes, "What the hell's wrong with him? Has he lost his mind?" And I'm like, I was just laughing. She's screaming at me. I'm laughing even louder as she's screaming at me. And then I just had to leave the room. I had to leave.
You can't stop it.
Left.
You can't
I was
stop
just
it.
laughing. It was just like a physical reaction. It's horrible.
Yeah. In college, when we were talking about algebra, the teacher said, we're trying to solve for A. What are we looking for, people? What are we looking for? Nobody's paying attention. He goes, we're looking for a piece of A. And my buddy and I lost it. And he didn't mean to say it. And he's like, you're going to look real funny on the outside looking in. And he sent us both out in the hall. And back then, like in college, you're like 20 years old.
Yeah,
but keep your composure. Good old Collie one with the Australian $2 says, Professor Eastwood. I think he might be talking about one of the games we're going to talk about. Look at this. Goody. The overlay is working just great. So I've got over an hour of Hogwarts footage I recorded. No main missions, just messing around. So we were asking people about Hogwarts last week, and I was listening to our last show, Gaz, and I was like, I'm not super thrilled, but I'm pretty sure I'm going to get it. And I was like, I'm not excited about it. It's become one of my favorite games in quite a while. So what are your first thoughts?
I remember last week when you were struggling to get your card out, your wallet, and it's like, I'll get it, Gaz. It's my turn now. And I'm like, I'm not getting this game because it's not something I would buy. Thank God for game sharing, because I'm a nerd, like I was a Harry Potter nerd, and I read the third book twice, God's sake, Prisoner of Azkaban, or Prisoner of Azerbaijan. So I read that. I forgot a lot of it, but it's kind of, you smashed into a, never mind, I'm watching a gameplay.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah, so
Enjoy
I wasn't expecting much. Like, it's like movie tie-in. I know it's a big game. It looks like it's going to be quite comprehensive. But what I didn't expect was a game to look so nice and suck me into Hogwarts. Like, this is like a Harry Potter dream come true. You can hear, like, all the little touches are so brilliant when you're in Hogwarts. When you go to Hogsmeade, it's just the characters are great. When I was doing the lessons, it was just so good. So I'm very early into the game. And as soon as I got to Hogsmeade and got my stuff, I said, there's no way that I'm going to sit here and spend time in an open world, like a game that's quite big. And I've got Hi-Fi Rush and other games to play because the game is that good. And you know me, I don't like the Ubisoft formula type of games, which like Rand says, when it opens up, it becomes that. But I will like this game because I like the story, the setting, and the characters in it. So it's such a brilliant game. It's breaking records despite all that controversy, and it's just going to put Avalanche on the map in a big, in a big way.
It's one of the biggest games of the year. Well, I mean, it's the biggest game of the year, but it's going to be one of the biggest, like, the entire year. What a surprise. The combat looks so dumb at first, but it's so great. The impact and how you color code and kind of string combos together, take a potion, throw out a biting cabbage. It's fantastic. In this opening segment you're seeing here, I'm doing a 5-round arena battle that is really, really difficult. This is the second one you do. The first one was pretty tough. This one, I never did pass it while I was capturing footage today for the show. So I captured probably about 15 different clips. I am definitely Slytherin. Yeah, I mean, they basically asked you just 2 questions, and it came to Slytherin. I'm like, well, I mean, I try to be a nice guy, but
your answers went straight to Slytherin. You're a legit Slytherin. I was actually picked as Ravenclaw. I was like, nah, wrong. Went to Slytherin. I picked Slytherin manually because screw the hat. What does that thing know?
Well,
yeah.
I mean, I think I built a character when I first got the game. I built a character to look like my son. And I think when I answered the questions, it gave me Slytherin. I'm like, whatever. So I changed it. And so when I made my character, when I just showed him the game, I ended up buying the game for him too. So I was like, trying to grab the debit card out of my wallet. And I bought the game for my son, and he is completely hooked. And he doesn't normally get hooked on big AAA games. He plays a lot of those creative games and stuff like that. So I don't know if he's watching the show right now, but he's actually probably playing the game, ignoring the show. But I don't know, chat. Like, look at Hari Chani, who just dropped a Hogwarts global code for the game on Xbox, and
Well done, man. The global code for a brand new game. Someone in chat, whoever gets it, global as well.
yeah,
That Xbox global code. That's mad.
I guess Hargeet's been like working on that region, breaking the region boundaries so he can give out games because he's Mr. Charitable Amazing.
He's amazing, man. He just gave up Hogwarts Legacy. So
Looks like Infinite Umbra was able to grab it, so he just claimed it to Hargeet. So yeah, we talk about the Ubisoft formula. Like Rand got a lot of heat because he's like, it's a paint by numbers Ubisoft game. There isn't anything compelling out in this big, huge open world. But you haven't even experienced much of it yet, Gaz. But that Hogwarts castle is alive. Like there are interactive things everywhere around the corners of everything. I watched the whole series, but I'm like rediscovering it. It's really amazing. Really amazing.
It's a very, very strong year for gaming already. I mean, if you're on Xbox, you've got Hi-Fi Rush, you've got this game, you've had Dead Space, you're going to have Stalker 2 soon, you're going to have Redfall, you're going to have Starfield and Forza, and how are you going to do Atomic Heart?
That's in a couple
crazy.
weeks.
On PlayStation, you got Final Fantasy. Well, I think Final Fantasy 7 is episode 2 is going to be delayed, but they've got loads as well.
Yeah, it won't be in 2023, I don't think.
But Xbox, it's just like a mad year. Like I'm genuinely. Have you noticed? I don't complain that much now. Do you know why? Because I know I have so many games. I'm having a good time. I'm genuinely loving these games. I'm not straining to like them. I'm genuinely taken aback by Hogwarts Legacy. I'm genuinely taken aback by
Hi-Fi Rush.
Mm-hmm. It's like the Jet Set Radio of this generation. Not because it plays the same. It doesn't. It's a very niche beat rhythm game, but it's beautiful. It's like the rapper of Xbox. It's so good.
That's funny. You said those same words. You said made that same comparison last week because today I was just listening back to last week's show. Hi-Fi, or I always get these two messed up. High on Life was another one. I was like, oh, that looks cool. I didn't think I would love it. So we've been really spoiled. What's that?
We have been, man. Like I have to High on Life. I have to complete that. It was another game I was playing. There's so many games. I have a backlog that is massive from this generation already. And I know the onslaught hasn't happened because now I've moved to a single player. That has changed and you know what? I'll go back to beat 'em ups. I'll go back to Tekken 8 and play that, learn that well, and maybe Street Fighter. But I'm not missing as much the multiplayer. This transition is a big one for me, and I'm really enjoying it. Like moving away. Look, I can't devote the time that all these young people I sound so old saying that. Oh my God. It just hit me in the head, like the realization that I'm an old man now. But the young people, but these kids, man, and they're like teens and like 20s, their hand-eye coordination. I'm just getting tired, like just breathing now. I'm getting older. So I'm playing all these single-player games. It's such a good year for Xbox, and I don't think that's a shill line. Like already, it's been great. So Redfall's going to be good. It's going to be a decent 84 meta kind of good game. Starfield, we'll talk about Starfield in a bit, but yeah, I'm just genuinely enjoying it. I'm still don't think that it's scot-free and Xbox Gaz is happy again. We still need to see what Xbox are showing with the first party, because I'll be honest with you, as far as sales are concerned, Sony's back to its old form.
Yeah, that's another thing we're going to get into today. Like you were just setting up this whole thing about how amazing 2023 looks even on Xbox. But right now it's kind of a dire situation when you start, comparison is the thief of joy, right? As I say, I love to say that.
My joy isn't hinging on PlayStation beating the crap out of Xbox. Every time that happens, it's good because Xbox get more pressure to deliver. So I'm kind of glad in many ways that Xbox doesn't have an excuse to sit on its hands, because last year is an evidence of them really getting a little bit too lax and relaxed. So yeah, but the competition is real, Colt. Xbox is feeling the pressure quite rawly. They got the ABK deal. Microsoft got really lofty. Like COVID hit, the higher ups signed off on this "we're all in on gaming" kind of mantra, because everyone record levels of intake. Everyone's stuck at home. Everyone honed in gaming, including Microsoft. The ABK deal, I don't think you would even entertain it as quickly as it did had it not been for COVID and the market situations that followed after it. Because have you noticed their metaverse blurb has died as well? What's happened to the metaverse? You couldn't even move without hearing that stupid term. Now it's dead.
Last year, yeah.
What's happened? Now they're talking about AI. Microsoft's doing thing in AI. So in order to sustain their interest in gaming, generally, my Xbox need to show Microsoft some results. And when PlayStation is reporting these strong performances, then it just hammers home the pressure. For me, it's good. For all of us, actual gamers, it's great, because that's where Xbox you cannot allow Xbox to rest on its laurels. So yeah.
And that's all of that is a really good precursor into a big chunk of the show today, because we're going to talk about where ABK is sitting. Some because of the ABK deal, a lot of laundry gets aired out, and people have been running with that today, which we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about Starfield. We're going to talk about the sales and the metrics. It's funny, I think Tuggernut said in the chat, I don't care about sales. That's Microsoft and Sony's problem, not mine, which I think is beautifully said. But while we're talking about Hogwarts and looking at this fantastic footage, as I was like getting real sweaty on the Master Chief controller trying to beat all these foul beasts, Digital Foundry put out a little statement in their recent video about why I really like John Linneman. But Gaz, can you not delicately, but can you tactfully explain what John Linneman went through? What?
You don't want me to do it. You don't want me to do it. You need to do it.
I mean,
I don't want to disrespect the man, but
okay,
don't want to.
Okay, so John Linneman admitted he was in a mood, and he was just like, "Why? I'm just gonna say it nicely. I don't care about Harry Potter. I don't like it. Why would I cover it? If we were gonna cover it, Digital Foundry, somebody else would do it, not me." Somebody like came at him with some sideways comment and deleted it. So John looked like the bitter enemy in that whole. He looked like the bad guy.
He's done it a few times, though. And I know social media is annoying. I've
done it,
sometimes
too.
You want to punch someone in the face sometimes. They're like, how stupid are you? Like, literally saying the opposite of what you're saying, and you still can't read it. It happens all the time. It happens all. I have a couple of people now just follow me, despite the fact they say they hate me. They follow me, and they say the dumbest stuff. I'm like, are you purposely trying to make me angry because it's working? And you're doing it through just being stupid. Like if I say, literally the tweet will say, "This is brown," and the guy will go, "Why do you say it's blue?" I'm like, what are you talking about?
Right.
This is brown. Then I'm like, I just what, go to school. Then you're like, maybe I'm arguing with someone who's not really all there. You know, you don't know who you're talking to, but then I'm just getting annoyed, and I'm just like, all right, stop. So, but
that is true. Gaz makes a good point, guys. For those of you who get into big discussions or maybe even arguments on social media, on the internet, you have to remember sometimes you may be arguing with someone who doesn't have the same faculties as you, mentally, emotionally, or whatever it may be. At one time, we've been in like kind of a interesting discussion / argument with someone, and someone says, and forgive me if this is a sensitive thing, but you and I, Gaz, were in a conversation. The guy was kind of being a little iffy about how he's, as far as respect level. And he goes, "You have to apologize." I have to apologize. He says, "I'm autistic and I may not come off the right way." And I was like, "Oh, well, bro, it's totally fine." Because you never know. Not everybody's going to say what's going on in their lives. But that...
Yeah, I've like argued with some people, then they're like in DMs like, "I'm autistic." I'm like, oh,
yes. Yes.
Right. Well, I shouldn't.
Or
That's where I've learned.
Or people have DM'd us and said, they've DM'd me, sorry guys, this is really quick. They'll DM and say, hey, I've had a really crappy week. This happened with my family. I lashed out. Anyway, go ahead. It happens.
That has happened as well. People like, sorry, I
bring it back around.
Bring
it around to John and Digital Foundry, so if you can.
John, listen. All I have to say to you is
6 million ways to die. Choose one.
I love that song. I could just play that
so good.
all day.
It's so good. Skip school to get the CD, by the way. Oh, what a day that was. Such a good day.
John Limited and Digital Foundry are cool. I think a lot of the media, because gaming media is very left-leaning, I find, or a lot of people cover it. And they've been frustrated secretly behind the stances and support of Hogwarts Legacy. If they don't overtly say it.
Did you see their statement today? Richard Ledbetter's.
Yeah, so they said they wouldn't cover it because they have some issues with what J.K. Rowling has said, and then they're like, we're still covering it. They've done a U-turn on that, and now they're covering it, and that's such a bad look. It's like you're going to say stick to your lane.
He said the game's already out. People are already playing it, and it's too big to ignore. Basically, isn't that kind of how he?
Horrible. That's horrible. You can't take you took a political stand, and in less than a week, you've done a U-turn because money. Views. That's what it reads like. I love Richard Ledbetter, man. He's a really cool guy. And I see that a lot of people in the space, which is fine, man. Like, look, gaming is maturing, the industry is maturing. People have all kind of views on it, but I think it's been pretty badly handled by the trans community, this issue here. But I say trans community, there's just a small vocal part of that community that make them look even worse. So they're always the squeakiest cog gets the oil. So just be careful of tarring a whole community with the same brush because some outliers are saying it. I know you might say, I don't have the hard numbers. I just want to give the benefit of the doubt. There are human people there with the human issues. It's just got to be just a little bit mindful and respectful. But with this thing, I'm like, you guys are taking it too far. You're not vilifying me for playing this game. I have no malintentions. If you think you want to support the game, bro, I have taken stands on movies and games that I refuse to watch because they're very just insulting to my beliefs. You don't hear about it. I'm just like, that's my mates will watch it. I'm like, that's fine. Just watch it. I will not force my opinion down your thing. If I feel really strongly, I'll educate them. I say, look, bro, this movie is like American Sniper. I can't watch that because it just makes all people in Iraq look like terrorists. Is just horrible and just propaganda to me. And I'm just like, I'm not watching
Well, you said it. You said it really well last week. You're like, you can boycott whatever you want, but don't go to other people and start smacking things out of their hand.
My mates will watch it. Let them watch it. Look, I feel a certain way. Different people have different feelings. But the community here, the way they've gone about it, tell me what your strategy. I said this last week. No one is going to subscribe to you or even listen to you. Like, I have no appetite now to listen to any of your screaming unless someone comes to me and says, look, and has a level. Look, the reason why we have an issue is this is what it makes us feel this way. That's how you do it. You can't force it. It just doesn't work. Tactically, it won't work. So I don't get it. Ultimately, this is about games. And
the game is so good. The game is really good. It's in the high 80s. It's really super enjoyable. Just the whole, just the discovery. Now, let me use words that people may use to flower up something, but discovery and wonder is like really paints what this game is. It's just really great the way you get through puzzles and discover things and reveal things. Revelio.
and you know what's funny? A lot of people gel with the vision of J.K. Rowling's Harry Potter in the books that have translated really well in the movies, and now the game has nailed it. They nailed the Hogwarts feel really well, and it's like so good. I did not expect this level of execution. I didn't, and it's impressive.
Hey, hang on a second, guys. Hey, Jen Spence in the chat's really getting very impatient because we haven't talked about Activision yet. Because in the title, I'm talking about the Activision deal is done. The Activision deal is in a really good place. We're going to talk about that and some of the analysts that have given their opinion on
your title. What?
Yeah,
you
yeah.
clickbait piece.
We're getting really close, and we're going to talk about that in a minute. Some of the other stuff that we got to cover. We were on the J.K. Rowling thing for a minute, but let's take a total train onto the dirt road and talk about the American football Super Bowl. There was somebody had started the rumor where there was going to be a big premiere commercial on television on national TV to show Starfield. And I thought the rumor originated from Tim Dog, who one of my good friends who hears a lot of stuff and gets it right. So I watched closely, guys, as I was watching the Super Bowl for a big Starfield commercial, and
Idiot.
got into the fourth quarter and started putting white makeup on and a little clown lips and a little honking nose, and nothing happened. According to
like special Nick.
According to experts, a commercial in the Super Bowl is about $5 million for the 30-second spot, and Xbox doesn't have that kind of money. So I don't know, guys. What's your take on
Xbox doesn't have that kind of money? So, chat. Some of you were in the March Brigade, right? You thought Starfield was coming in March. Don't even deny it. We had this talk here. How is that working out for you? Do you really think?
Don't look at the chat. Just keep talking. Just don't look at the chat.
I see that glaring, obnoxious logo. There's obviously Paris saying, "Wait, Gaz is leaving. Guess I really will have to kiss." You have to try. You have to try, Paris Lily. Not that
just so
hard.
you know, I saw some behind the scenes footage of Paris chiseling his biceps on a grindstone, like, leveling him up and putting some perk points into his muscles so he could, choke your head and pop it right off your shoulders. So just be ready.
He's munching on dessert right now as you said that. It's so bad.
He's like just doing these huge arm curls, and you're like eating pastry puffs.
Oh man, it's so bad. I'm gonna look terrible at E3. Yeah, so like March, right, people? What's
The
happened?
Marchers.
What's happened? Well, yeah, Marchers, you're looking a bit shook right now. Things are looking a little bit spooky. And you know what? I'm gonna be there in March every day, just going
Fatality, 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 fatality.
The March
I have taken names of
Starvidians.
every single one. All these people who are starving and saying, "Oh, I've got receipts." You guys were bare hype for this game coming out in March, thinking this game could be Shadow Drop, like it's like a Hi-Fi Rush. It's Starfield, man. This
Yes.
is probably the most important game Xbox will have after Halo Infinite, which have flopped. But
Guess. We have 1,300 people watching the Ecstasy podcast right now.
oh,
Ways to die. Choose one.
Hold on your Starfield thing. Hit the like button if you're having a good time. Thank you so much for being here and supporting our show as Gaz and I talk about the March Starfieldians who are coping and seething. So
Low tier gamer goes, Gaz, are we in March? Oh, well, we're coming close, bro. He still believes. And the Marchers still believe. Pong still believes. Mav still believes. Okay.
I've been having
Like,
a good time with Pong and Mav over that. They've been cracking me up as we make jokes about the March thing.
It's a bold strategy, Cotton. Let's see if it pays off for them. Don't market this game. Just send it to die. Well, it won't die, but still.
At this point, I'm just hoping that we get the announcement for a March Developer Direct Starfield event at the end of February or sometime in February. But I think they give 2 weeks notice usually for this event. That's what they did last time. So I would think the very last week of February that maybe we would hear about the Developer Direct if they're trying to hit June field.
I think March Developer Direct for June is more likely. Something tells me it'll slip to September. Don't ask me why. Just September seems like the feels. But what the thing that makes me think this will not get delayed beyond June is because I don't think Microsoft can afford to have both Forza and Starfield delay. Sorry, beyond the June month. because that would be really bad. I think the game is well. We know the game is pretty much.
I just don't like how they haven't been talking about it in a while. It's been close to 2 months since they've officially talked about Starfield. Seems like it might be.
Yeah, I don't know
Yikes.
what's going on there.
Let me get a couple of supers here. Red Wolf, thank you so much for gifting 3 channel memberships to this channel. Why you'd want to be a channel member? I guess it is pretty good. I do giveaways for merch, and you get early access. So it can be wonderful, and it can feel great in your heart as well. Thank you so much, Red Wolf, and we haven't chatted in a while. Yodana Kizada. Have you talked to Red?
I haven't.
He's awesome. Well, I think, yeah, he's always saying we got to get Gaz on party chat. I'm like, yeah, but he's still in his underwear sleeping when we're hanging out on party chat. But so we got to get you up while you're eating your cereal.
Underwear. I'm naked. Sorry.
Yodana Kizada, thank you so much for the 5. He says, dang, guess we can't rename the show Colt Middle Eastwood X Habibi Podcast when Gaz leaves.
Oh,
yeah. Oh, we're working on changes to the show in your absence.
And I know it's gonna be good.
Yeah.
I know what's coming, people.
I'm like, hey Phil, what's up, Phil Spencer? You want to be on my and he hung up. So we got oh yeah. Alex Kennard said a while ago, and I actually thought the same thing. So that's why I'm reading this. Says you should put up a poll for what houses people are on Hogwarts. I don't know if you still care, but we kind of stopped talking about Hogwarts with Hogwarts. Let me start poll. You'll have to remind me and make sure I get what. Let's see what Harry Potter house
What
are
did
you?
you do? Chat is obsessed with ABK. How could you put a title? Xbox Activision Blizzard deal is done. You're such a piece of. Justify it. Go on, justify. you such a drive by truck. Ooh, this gameplay looks good.
What's the Gryffindor for what is it called? Kathy
Gryffindor.
Gryffindor? I don't know how to spell it. You know what?
Just having Griff.
Okay, what's the other one? Is Ravenclaw? I'm sorry. I don't like doing this while we're doing the show because then I'm not engaged. Hufflepuff, and then there is Slytherin. Is there another one?
No. Hufflepuff, Ravenclaw, Slytherin, and Gryffindor.
I'm not spelling those right because I just want to get this out, but these are the 4 choices. And
there's 5 actually.
There's a stone one.
That's it. The other ones are fine. What the hell is Gryffindor? The spelling of Gryffindor
I don't
given
know.
me diarrhea. What the flip is that? Gryffindor. Look at that.
I'm anti Gryffindor or whatever it is because that's the one everybody wants to be. It's the do-gooders and the goody two shoes. So I'm anti whatever that one is. Now keep in mind, Harry Potter's been around 25 years or whatever, and I just watched this series this past fall and winter for the first time. I watched the movies back to back over a couple of weeks, thanks to Hargeet Chani, who sent me the whole set. So my knowledge is limited. Shut up, Gaz, Taliban.
ABK. Everyone wants to
Let's talk about
ABK.
Let's talk about ABK. The first thing we're going to say about it, and I'll have to make sure I catch this other news that we've got to talk about as well, is Sony has filed 4 extensions of time for its motion to try and stop the Activision Blizzard merger. And
doesn't matter because the deal is done, right, Colt? I'm gonna make your life difficult, bruv. You little shit. I didn't even know it was the title. I have nothing to do with it.
Or did you? Microsoft has tried to subpoena Sony several times. They have filed for 4 extensions. Sony is not just fighting Microsoft's subpoena. It's surprising, if not shocking, that Sony is also unwilling to comply with FTC's own subpoenas for the records and their dirty deeds done dirt cheap. Actually, I used to think that song was Dirty Deeds Done with Sheep. That's a totally different song. But Gaz, what's going on? Because the reason why I said the Microsoft, the Activision Blizzard deal is done is because our good friend that we had on the show a couple months ago, Michael Pachter, says the posturing and the attitude and the way that the CMA and the FTC have been talking about the deal screams that they're not going to get their way, but they're going to have the last word on the way out the door. And he believes this deal, and other experts believe this deal is done by May of this year instead of July, like we thought a year and a half ago. Your thoughts?
Okay, so you really trust Pachter to go on a limb there? That's fine. That's fine. I don't think Pachter's actually wrong here. I think it'll go up to June and perhaps beyond that. Actually, I think it's going ahead. To me, I just don't like. I know it's a political process, but when it comes to as a case, lawyers get handed a case, and on the facts of the case, it's very, I say easy. It's not, because you're dealing with political affairs and personalities, and the substance of your argument sometimes doesn't really matter because of that. But Microsoft has an easy case because they are not market leader. They are addressing all the primary concerns of PlayStation, and they will offer them that stuff. So the CMA's initial judgment, they were suggesting more. But they were veering away from behavioral remedies, and they were saying more structural remedies like divestment. And that's quite extreme. Like you pluck out ABK and COD out of the deal and just send it to someone else, and they become independent. It's not feasible. Microsoft is not entertaining that. Behavioral remedies will be enough if a court were to assess it. But when you put in regulators in there, they're just basically going out for their pound of flesh. So as long as this is particularly true of the FTC, if they can be seen, if Lena Khan can be seen to take her pound of flesh and show that, hey, we made Microsoft do this, that will be a win to them. Because Lena Khan has come out already a few months ago and said they're happy to take losses. It's no skin off their nose. They'll just go for the blue sky with this. And it's so dumb because that just basically says we're going to go all out. And our conduct of this case has shown that we don't really care about the facts or the details. So they're just literally they've just become the de facto lawyers for PlayStation. And you might think, oh, Gaz, you're an expert. You're saying that. No, generally, I look at that. I love it. And that's why I see that.
Oh, I love it when you say that. Like, that's because they really have. They really have. It seems like
that's how they're behaving.
The whole thing that really bothers me about this is at every turn, Xbox and Microsoft are like, we would like to buy this ginormous company. And Sony's like, no, you can't buy that. No, we object. We object to this. We don't like this. We don't like this. It's like, it's not your money. It's not your purchase. I could just imagine when you buy a house, it's a big deal. Can you imagine somebody coming over and go, no. Yeah, that's a very big house, and it's going to have a very big yard. And it's not the same.
It's like you're in a neighborhood and Sony's bought all the houses and then it owns all the businesses. And then you're coming in and you're buying some land. Nope. Little man, point number 3. You're going to hurt us one day, eventually. No, we won't. Here we go. This road that we're buying, we'll let you use it for 10 years, and you can build your own roads in the meantime. Nope. We need that road. I'm like, but we're giving it for you for 10 years. 10 years to use that road. We got all this space. Build your own road. Nope. And that's why I don't. So the consolidation point, people say it's really bad. On the facts of the case of ABK, it's not bad. The studio needs help. ABK are desperate for this deal to go through. They are so desperate for this deal to go through. If they don't go through, Starfield will lose out. The games will crumble because look at Diablo 3 and Overwatch 2. And we've repeated this ad nauseum. We've talked about this. It's like I'm stuck in a loop. But ultimately, the deal will go through. I am very confident. If it doesn't, I will be very shocked.
I am very, very confident that the deal will be done. Yeah, and it is on the last hurdle, as it seems. It's just a long wait. We are so tired of dealing with it. There's more to just, there's more to it than like, I don't like that that Sony can object to a purchase, because with Sony and PlayStation audiences watching, we have almost 1,500 people watching. Thank you so much for being here. Hit the like button if you're learning something, or if you just like looking at the footage of Hogwarts. Gosh dang it, the game's so neat.
Like button.
Yeah, smash it. Just smash it down. There's more to it than just no. Microsoft can't just buy whatever they want. It is a very pointed and very specific objection to what it's going to do to PlayStation. Now, Frank Kent in the chat says Xbox are not the victims. No. In a weird way, PlayStation is the victim. And I'm going to explain why. What are you going to say, guys?
Well, I'm interested in this angle of yours.
Call of Duty. This is from the recent report about Call of Duty sales on the PlayStation platform. Call of Duty is the number one reason people opt for PlayStation. CMA found that 88% of users buy PlayStation due to the availability of one or more games. That's according to Sony's documentation and their surveys that they've done with their consumers. I'll read that again. CMA found that 88% of users buy PlayStation due to the availability of one or more games. So we can think about what would be the games that we already established last week here, guys, that about 8% of the platforms buy the big exclusives. The rest are not buying God of War, Spider-Man being a slight exception. So God of War, Horizon Forbidden West, Gran Turismo 7, like that's around 8% of the platform. So what are the big sellers every single year, guys?
COD, Madden, and in the UK, FIFA. Though those are the big ones. And that's it. And that's why Sony is there. So all that posturing on exclusives and blah, 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 it boils down to multiplats, and they've been coasting on it. But I don't want to downplay the importance of exclusives, because that solidifies the brand image. It's just that with COD, Microsoft needs to buy COD to... See, last generation was so important. That's why Xbox messed up at a very pivotal point in the gaming industry, where it had built all this momentum in its online home, the network, and it faltered at the worst time, because PlayStation didn't kind of almost bowed out in the PS3 gen for the online gaming space. No one who took online gaming seriously played on the PS3. I'm sorry, didn't even have party chat or anything. It was just crap. It was just absolute nonsense. PS4 copied Xbox with their easy-to-build hardware, complete U-turn from the cell architecture, and then copy the online stuff. Massive. Xbox dropped the ball at the worst time, because now people are starting to... there was a mass exodus from Xbox people to PlayStation, and now they're invested in that PlayStation ecosystem. And in order to now... They've ingrained so tight. Sony 221. It built like this, like everyone was invested, especially now where everything is digital. So you don't want to forsake your digital library. Microsoft now needs to deliver something that shocks the system. Game Pass is the one thing that was doing it, but Game Pass isn't enough, because you need the mass market appeal. And Game Pass, if you go out to
meaning the big games,
Joe, ask most people here in London, like casuals, they won't know what Game Pass still is. They don't know what it is. I say, just get Game Pass. What's that? It's the Netflix of games. That's always I just say. It's just like all these games. You don't have to buy games anymore. Or something to that effect. And the Xbox Game Pass doesn't have mass market penetration, despite the fact that it's doing really well against its competitor. It's nowhere near good enough. And
30 million versus 300 million PC and PlayStation and Xbox gamers. It's like it's a small portion right now. And I want to get into the actual numbers for why PlayStation and Sony are so afraid of losing customers because of Call of Duty, even though they've promised them 10 years. Before I do that, this kind of folds into it. I had two I had my daughter and my wife both ask me when I was playing Hogwarts Legacy, guys. This is great. What you're playing that on Xbox? I said, yeah, and they go, I thought that was a PlayStation exclusive, and I said, and I was like, why would you think that? And she said, well, there's a bunch of Instagram ads over and over for it shows Hogwarts Legacy and this is PlayStation at the end, and I'm like, that's what they want you to believe, huh? And I mean, it's their game they paid for marketing. It also goes to say that it doesn't make us or Xbox fans victims. Like, Microsoft, why aren't you buying the biggest games? Like, why aren't you marketing the biggest games anymore? It seems like they've really dialed that back. And
so you say that, and you're right to say that. So I'm hearing from some people I know that PlayStation are really looking at doubling down on superhero and comic book licenses. They're really going hard. Now, Microsoft, Phil Spencer, has said that they don't really want to invest in licensing agreements where they don't actually end up owning the IP. I'm like, shut up. No, you cannot afford PlayStation to get. And I'm working on a video. My next video is on upcoming superhero / comic book games, and this video after that is going to be like a nice little conceptual one. But you cannot drop the ball on that. And if that's true, and it's just rumor mill, but I'm hearing it from legit peeps that Sony are looking to take, are considering, and there are talks of really doubling down on the superhero stuff. And I don't know what it is. Like, is it Marvel? Is it DC? Is it both? Cannot allow that to happen. Why when you were talking about the spiel about how exclusives aren't important, you said, but Spider-Man, well, that's an exception.
I didn't say they aren't important. I said they're 8% of the platform. But yeah, go ahead.
You know what I mean? But comparatively, they're not. But then
they aren't the juggernauts. Yeah,
they're not juggernauts. But Spider-Man. But you said, well, that's an exception. Why? Because the mass market know about Spider-Man, just like the mass market know about Hogwarts Legacy and Harry Potter. So Microsoft needs to seriously consider entering into licensing agreements for it. Like DC, like the whole slate of so many IPs for them to consider. Xbox do need to do that. They need to be pound for pound being countering everything. Or developing their own. Like the Western RPGs, they got it on lock. Safe. Done. Racer, Forza will smash for GT most likely. Safe. Done. First-person shooters, pretty much you're sorted. You've got Doom, you've got, well, not Halo, but you've got everything. You've got Machine Head, you've got big studios. Fine. All right. But the big ones, if you're going to make Game Pass, if you're relying on a Game Pass to make these big moves for you, you need mass market penetration. That sounds wrong. But yeah, you do. And that basically means you need superhero games. You definitely need to do that.
I say start with go grab that Wonder Woman Monolith game, because you guys may not be excited about a Wonder Woman game, but Monolith is fantastic studio. I've said this 17 times here. And just go make an Aquaman game, go make a Batman game instead of Gotham Knights. But Phil Spencer said, Gaz, and I know you're working on a video about this, and I won't spoil any more than that. Like, this is like part of a discussion you want to have in a new video. But Phil has said that he doesn't want to buy other people's IPs. They want to have their own, and they either want to own those studios. But PlayStation has no problem with money hatting Star Wars. And you've got
Absolutely.
Bethesda had already money hatted they had already acquired the license for Indiana Jones, so Xbox kind of well, there's a lie.
You're absolutely right about a Wonder Woman. I don't really care about Wonder Woman, but I'm looking into it for this video. Wonder Woman is they're bringing back the Nemesis system. If you played Shadow of Mordor, which I'm very.
Did they say they will for Wonder Woman? That's a proprietary trademarked system as well.
Yeah, so apparently they're bringing that back. But Monolith Studios are amazing. They've got some of I was looking back on their games for the video that I'm working on. I'm like, wait, what? They're the ones who made these games? Like,
what did they make besides Shadow? The Middle
No
Earth.
One Lives Forever. Alien vs Predator 2. That was amazing with FPS. You could pick Alien, Predator, or Human. Great, insane game. It was so good on the PC at the time. Then you had Matrix Online, which was weird, but still, Fear is still the AI in Fear can just school most games. Like,
Those are
how's
awesome
that
games.
even happened? It's ridiculous. Oh, and Condemned. And I was talking about this on Go Live. Condemned, again, another game, incidentally, had incredible AI. Incredible AI at the time. Condemned were brilliant games. Raw, first-person, melee-based, so scary, so just unnerving. I would just remember playing that. So, and then they've got Condemned 2, they've got Fear 2, they've got Guardians, Middle Earth. Yeah, great games.
Minimal is
Quality
awesome.
games. So they need to really invest in that, man. Like, I when I was hearing that, my friend, well, whoever told me, I was just like, yo, that's PlayStation on the money there. Sony, Microsoft need to deliver. They need to consider that, strongly need to consider superhero games. Really done.
Because you can make a really great Fable game, or you can make a really great Perfect Dark game, but half the work's already done for you if you grab a really great IP that people love. And I just set up a poll while you were explaining that. Are you done? Are you like done with the superhero games? And I don't know.
I'm actually.
I think they have more legs than the movies do. I think people are done with the movies, honestly.
Yeah.
But I think the video games still have some legs because they've been kind of finally a resurgent of great video games have come up over the past 10 years, thanks to Batman Arkham and Spider-Man.
So I've recently thanks to yesterday, funnily enough, on a Sunday, the Flash trailer got released. I know Ezra Miller is a weird psychopath, but they still
wish
wanted
they
him
could
in
digitally
there.
paint him out.
Yeah,
Sorry.
exactly. They wish they could do that as well.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. They wish. Sorry, I interrupted you. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, they definitely wish they could. But everyone's like, why is he still playing? When they watched the trailer, you know what everyone said? That's why. Because they've got a lot of work into it and the movie looks amazing. And so everyone's like, you need to watch the Flashpoint paradox. So my friend was telling me about this alternate universe where Barry, the speed guy, messes up and the whole universe is so dark. So yesterday, I watched the Flashpoint paradox. And bro, Colt, I'm telling you, and as I've been crying about in a WhatsApp group, it's so good. Like, it's like the darkness of. I didn't even read that many comic books. When I did, they were so dark. I was obsessed. I just didn't have access to them where I lived back home. But bro, this was so good. And then I was like, what? Imagine this as a game, like this dark game. And Wolverine, Insomniac going to be making it. Making it to be a mature game. Like, I'm more of a DC fan than I'm a Marvel fan, but one of the best things I loved about Marvel was X-Men, and I'm hearing about X-Men's new bro, look, superhero games and movies and I'm a scrub when it comes to this stuff, but I'm telling you right now, I'm in the moment of epiphany where these guys are coming from, why King David buys 5K statues all the time. He's obsessed.
Yeah.
Marvel, and because there is in the comic books something so much better than what you see on movies. Very few exceptions. Logan was amazing for Marvel. That was great. Wolverine's gonna hit those kind of vibes, really dark, and Insomniac are onto a banger. That one's gonna be amazing if it's linear and more bloody. Where's Microsoft's answer to that? I want to see that, but Warner Brothers, like Hoggy in the chat. Thank you for the $5. He goes, rumors are abound that Warner Discovery are restructuring their IPs to look good for an acquisition. Just saying. Yes, absolutely. They have been doing that. Then they stopped. Then they're looking to divest a little bit more and then shelve off some of these IPs. But
Xbox, grow a pair and go buy this. Go put some money down on this.
But they went straight for ABK. They went high. And after that, they'll be done. They'll be done with the big ones. Ultimately, we should be telling them, because just shut up now, sit down and get those games working properly, because ABK is a big snack. It's like a whole table. So, but I just like licensing agreements. That doesn't stop you from entering into licensing agreements. Go and do it. My Xbox turned down superhero games. Remember last gen? Turned down.
Yes, I mean, but they had no funding then.
Exactly.
I'm sure that the offer was on the table and they were like, yeah, it's too rich for my blood. I mean, you're looking at an Xbox that was like, please, sir, because I have a farthing, please. And then he's like, oh my gosh, it was so hot in here. Let me read some supers that are piling up, and shout out to 1,500 people who are watching X&C. Legendary days here with Gaz as a co-host, and hit the like button if you're having a good time. We're gonna get back into the ABK thing as we went on a tangent. What needs to be said about the superhero licensing, which I knew you'd bring up, and it really is part of the discussion. But we'll get back to ABK as well. Swindiver says, "Gaz, what are you doing here? You made me cry last week. What the heck?"
Our D in chat, I would love a website to read the comics, but I'm going to go to a comic book store tomorrow and buy some hard copies because I'm working on a video. I just want to show you that stuff. But yeah, thank you. Sorry.
Awesome. Yeah, you can buy some. Yeah. Fresh comics. Dark CMF, who's been a channel for 23 months, and one of my good friends says, "Happy birthday, someone." Not sure whose, but it is someone's birthday. Hit the like, chat, and let's go Juners. Yeah. Get Dark's with me. He's a Juner for Starfield. Udani, thank you for the super. Says, "Starfield ad during Cricket World Championships." Dark CMF with the $10 super. Thank you, Dark. He says, "All points to Gryffindor," and he spelled it correctly. I wrote like GRIFFPHJ. I wrote it like it was Icelandic. Let's see. Did you get this? Yes, you got Hargeets. Highlander 001. Thank you for the $5. Says, "Microsoft needs a steady flow of games for Game Pass," which they didn't have in 2021 or 2022. He says, "and to actually make a PR team and give them a large budget if they want people to sub to Game Pass." And then, Games Media Gaz was reporting last week. I think we talked about it on the show last week that they have a reduced budget, but that was just complete conjecture. But
nonsense, yeah.
They have laid off employees, and it has hit some parts of the gaming division quite heavily. So I wonder if there's not maybe there really is a reduced marketing budget. Why spend all this money when you let people go and it sucks?
I think it's forcing Microsoft Xbox's division to be a little bit. They had it. The coffers were wide open, and they were like not being very tactical with their spending, and they were being a little bit reckless. And now Phil Spencer and company, owing to this rapid, sudden growth, have now needed to sit back and hone in and start refining things because they've been sitting back. And the reason why we're hearing about Fable, we're hearing about Undead Labs, and all that stuff is because the initiative is because of that. So it's almost inevitable, but now it's time to fix that shit. And I think Xbox are under a lot of pressure this year, man. Like really under a lot of pressure.
They've put themselves in this situation, Gaz. They spent an entire calendar year, a whole fiscal year plus, not releasing games. So where's your return on investment for all these studios, these 23 studios around the world that are working, and they haven't released any games?
So yeah, cast yourself back, minds back, everyone in chat, how Xbox's image was before. Now you guys are holding on to Game Pass quite strongly because of the values there, but the image was very different. PlayStation was embarrassing. Xbox was embarrassing it.
It was Avowed, Perfect Dark, Halo Infinite, Forza Horizon. There were all these games that were announced and shown. Yeah.
And they launched well, and they had the more powerful console, and they had the most value as well, and they had most enticing IPs where Sony said believe in generations, so nonsense and game like all of that. Xbox, it was the perfect storm for Xbox to deliver. Why do you think I was so frustrated all of last year? Because they just sat back and just when it counts the most, they sat back. And now I'm being asked to give them the benefit of the doubt this year, fine. And I want everyone to be on the same page. I don't want any excuses.
You know what? Something that not a lot of people remember, because you kind of move along the evolution of what happened over the past year. And really what it comes down to is in 2022, Forza Motorsport, Redfall, and Starfield all got pushed into 2023. But Forza Motorsport never had a release. I mean, I had talked to people, and I was very confident that Forza Motorsport was going to land in the holiday of 2022. And it was a no-show. In fact, I think in the holiday 2022, I made a big video about Forza and some of the additions that they had talked about. So here we are wondering what happened. And like you said, they had this moment where they had a big push where they were going to do great things. And those 3 major games got delayed and they sat back and they did nothing. And I also, as the devil's advocate, Gaz, you and I have talked about behind the scenes quite a bit about how when you're in, you were spring 2022 and Starfield and Redfall got delayed, it was probably too late to strike a deal with a game, even like Gotham Knights. I used to think, just go buy Gotham Knights, make it exclusive, or put it day and date on Game Pass. And I think midway through the year, those deals happened so early that Microsoft said, there's nothing we can do to drop something into this empty year. Gosh, dang, that sucks.
It does suck for whatever reason. COVID, let's not downplay that, but the competition did thrive as well. So everyone thrived during COVID. Sony delivered, irrespective of whether their games were delayed, and it's just a lot of it is luck of the draw as well. Like God of War landing along with the Horizon and Gran Turismo is luck of the draw. And ultimately, Xbox did get pretty murked circumstantially. It was evident to me that they'd grown so quickly, but they didn't have a solid plan. This is the old Xbox that they said they couldn't decouple Kinect, but they did. Or price reductions here and the U-turns here and there. And it felt like that kind of indecision of Microsoft was still there. And that needs to change. And the pressure is rightly mounting on Phil, but they are battling to try and take control of the narrative now. And it's harder when you don't have too much to show. The Developer Direct, though, did help massively. But the lack of dates for the 2 big games is a glaring one. Because we have how many months? We're in middle of Feb. You promised last year that you would have Starfield and Forza by June or end of June, the 12 months, whatever, or mid-June, whatever. If one of them we know is going to delay, because most of you think, right, that one of them, at least one of them will go beyond the 12 months, right? Why is that? Why is that even a situation where we're entertaining it? It's because it's Microsoft and Xbox.
Yeah.
They haven't given us the confidence to say that, well, your word is your bond. And they're losing that confidence. And now it's got point of like, we're already ready to tolerate it because beyond just the delays, we want good games. And this year is so important. That's why Hi-Fi Rush is so important. It's like, yeah, it's a beat rhythm action game that most people won't actually play, but it's quality, it's variety, it's from a studio they just acquired, Tango Gameworks, and they smashed it out to a level of sheen no one expected. Bug-free game that looks this good. Microsoft Shadow Drop? What? And so they did that. And then you've got these other, sorry, I'm just going on a rant, but but this is why this year is so important. If they forget the delays, like even I will say it's a fat L. You had a promise, you couldn't keep it. We had to withstand a shit year of E3 and that showcase that you didn't show anything, and had people come at me for saying, "What the flip is this crap showcase that was a repetition of the last year, except you showed a little bit more gameplay." Whatever, you did that, fine. Now these games need to bang. They need to bang. They 100% need to bang, and Starfield is the one that needs to bang more than anyone. And I'm confident. I'm confident in it. All of them. I'm confident in Redfall. I'm confident in Starfield. I'm confident in Forza. But there's a sense of unease and the sense of, as an Xbox fan, like you're a bit nervous. Like, what's going on? Well, no delay dates. Give us something, so we know that you're starting to take control of.
But that is my issue, where I feel like, where's your confidence? You should be screaming from the rooftops about Starfield. You should be talking about it every chance you get. And Redfall's been doing that. I like but the Bethesda team is different, and the Arcane team is doing their own thing, and they're very, very vocal. But like, you should be. Phil and Matt Booty need to quit acting like Perfect Dark and Fable don't exist until they're pressured really strongly by a media interview. You know, they'll get on these podcasts, these interviews, and someone will say, "What about Perfect Dark?" And then they're like, "Oh gosh, I guess I have to answer the question." It's like, no, you should be like, "Oh, thank you for asking. We can't wait to talk about Perfect Dark. We can't share anything yet, but we are so excited." And Matt's done that a little bit, but they're in such a
He's
bind.
saying that he but he did say he wants to share more, but he can't, and that doesn't mean anything until you do show. This E3 is I'm gonna be, even if I'm there, even if I'm like rainbows in my eye, all nice and amazing, and it's like, Colt Eastwood is here. I could touch you. I could touch King David. Hug. Still, my mindset is Xbox still needs to deliver. I'm not gonna be like carried on by the spectacle of that E3 and to let it blind me. It has to be raw. It has to be. If Xbox doesn't do it this year, PlayStation's back to 2-1. I'm sorry. It's the momentum is already killing it.
There isn't an if. Like you can't say if Xbox doesn't deliver this year, this happens. It's like they're done. It's sometimes I wonder, I got to get back to the Activision thing, but sometimes I wonder how long Satya is going to tolerate a 17 months without a major AAA return on investment. That's really what it comes down to. Now, I know there were some great things last year. Like Grounded was fantastic, and getting MLB The Show is really great for Americans that really love American baseball. I guess it's the only kind of baseball. I don't know. I've just talked about this a lot. Let me get back to this. We're going to swing all the way back. I got to kind of reset. The CMA really puts a harsh spotlight, guys, on how important Call of Duty is and how Microsoft has promised to keep it there for 10 years. And even a 10-year promise frightens Sony and PlayStation to the fact where they're spending their own money and their own muscle and lawyer muscle to get this deal blocked. Here is the CMA found that 88% of users buy PlayStation due to the availability of one or more games. Here's the part that I was waiting on. And if that 88%, a whopping 73% of that 88% said Call of Duty was that game. And I couldn't find the quote where Sony also said, we are afraid that we are going to lose a certain portion of our PlayStation console purchasers or consumers to Game Pass. I don't know if you saw that quote or if you knew what that number was. What do you remember what the number was?
I don't remember the numbers, but they expressly said that one, they called it a category of its own, right? Call of Duty. And then they said Game Pass is so strong, even no one could replicate it. There's no one in the space. And if what they worried about is, it's all hinges on Game Pass, the big disruptor. Sony is terrified of Game Pass. It's terrified of Call of Duty appearing on Game Pass. That's what's rigged. Like the perfect storm of, that's the thing that can shift potentially. I still think even with COD, there's a uphill battle there for Xbox and its global appeal. But that's the avenue. If COD is coming to Game Pass and you market it properly, Microsoft, I don't know why you're so bad at this, but if you market that effectively, that is your best chance of mass market penetration, propagation of Game Pass to them. And then they will start turning that tide. It's an uphill battle, but that's what Sony's afraid of.
Mm-hmm.
But
are you ready for this? Johnny Sins in the chat said the number that I remember, and so did Naib from gosh darn it, you say that name for me, Gaz. Naib Fahmy?
Naib, yeah.
Naib Fahmy says 24, and Johnny Sins. And that was the quote. I didn't want to say it because I don't like to speak off the top of my memory. 24% of their, Sony's afraid that 24% of their possible console purchases would go to Xbox instead so they could get the game on Game Pass. Now, I would actually Hargeet, if you could do this quickly behind the scenes, it would be amazing. Hargeet and I like to do this math when we're in party chats, but if you knew how much money PlayStation makes off of Call of Duty sales, and to think that 25% of their yearly revenue due to PlayStation would go to an Xbox console or a Game Pass on PC consumer, you can see why PlayStation would be absolutely frightened if somebody just told you were going to take a 25% pay cut because this deal was going through. It would frighten you, and no wonder PlayStation is trying to stop this deal because it's not about hey, we're going to keep it on all platforms, it is absolutely the fear of Game Pass.
It is, but the way Sony has conducted itself, if for whatever reason this deal fails, I question whether Activision, and there's two camps there, and Asa disagrees with me with this on this, whether Activision would even want to engage in discussion with PlayStation in any way near the same kind of just with any kind of eagerness like they've shown before, and I don't think so. You've got Lulu Sheng Masave. She is now head of corporate there, at Activision Blizzard, and she's not happy. She's annoyed. And read these messages. I mean, I read this on Go Live. She said, so people are asked about, her reactions, and some of her comments were quite attacking them. This is what she said. She said, "We are a partner to them. Were they, Sony, worried about pissing us off when they tried to kill a really good deal that our employees wanted and that our players wanted?
Wow.
Were they worried about pissing us off when they made all these claims that seem to be pretty disingenuous and we didn't take it personally? They're making the case for what's best for their business." But come on, when do you see someone talk like that? The employees want it. Players want it, obviously, because you're going to get ABK. Forget the Sony crying consolidation crowd who said, "Oh, so evil." No one can answer the fact that Diablo, Blizzard, has been a mess. Everyone knows that. Every Blizzard fan from PC knows it's a mess. The employees hate Kotick. They'll hate the status quo. Something can finally shine a light on that. Call of Duty is coming back. It's coming back this year, despite the fact that last year they said they're not going to make Call of Duty. Why?
A full-fledged Call of Duty game, yeah.
Absolutely. And
in
why?
Game Pass.
Why is that?
In Game Pass in 2023.
Well, if that deal,
I mean, that's probably what we're looking at.
Yeah, but if forget the Game Pass thing, like that Call of Duty, it wouldn't even exist, Colt, because Phil Spencer said they want to make it biannual. Like, forget the daily grind of just delivering content. Immediately we're winning. They've already come out and publicly said it. That they
has Activision said they want to go biannual, or is that an Xbox and Microsoft initiative when they acquire them?
I think it's Microsoft say so.
I mean, that'd be another reason Sony want to block it, because they have free money coming in every year, like in a billion or $1.5 billion coming into the PlayStation ecosystem because Call of Duty exists, and all they have to do is get the port on the console.
Yeah, but
it's free money.
And if I remember correctly, is that actually Phil? But don't quote me on that. But it definitely Microsoft. They said it. They're going to make it biannual. As an independent studios, like all the studios under ABK. They all who make Call of Duty, they'll be like, oh, sigh of relief. They're like, they don't have to rely on COD anymore. Like, they just breathe a little bit. And then Phil Spencer said, he wants to revise some of the dormant IPs under ABK. Win-win for gamers, you morons. You're kind of crying about it. Well, let's be honest, the ponies want to cry about it because they don't want to get those games on Xbox or PC or cloud or mobile because they don't have access to those devices. But like, they don't. It was just a win-win for gamers. It's such a win-win for gamers. So this consolidation C word is just so badly just weaponized because you're not taking the merits of the case here and the studios in question. I mean,
it's
and
not
the sentiments of staff, the sentiments of gamers, the state of the IPs. Diablo is going to be fucked by this June. They're cutting out content. What are you guys doing? Like, or you can still cry because of based on console. I'd obviously cut them away because you guys are idiots. But for general, like all those ponies and the hardcore guys, they'll celebrate whatever. But for fans of Blizzard, it's going to be amazing. World of Warcraft could potentially come out on console, on Xbox. Can you imagine? That would be mad.
Yeah, and Call of Duty is going to go to Switch. There's going to be a Switch version or at least a Nintendo console version where Call of Duty has been gone for 10, 15 years because it hasn't been on the Nintendo consoles. It's going to be in more places because of xCloud. But you said it's good for the gamers, but who it's not good for? is the PlayStation only fan. The person that only plays on a PlayStation. And
You still
I
get
know
COD.
Christopher Dring's going to get mad at me because I'm saying, you got to buy another console, but if you can look me in the eyes and tell me that you only own a PlayStation 5 and you don't have a PC in your house, you don't have a tablet, you don't have a Windows 10 PC that runs xCloud, you don't have a smartphone, you don't have a smart TV that might, possibly run xCloud. I don't know. I just don't think there really is such thing as the PlayStation only fan. But there's definitely, guys, there definitely is the type that will only play on a PlayStation, won't touch their PC for games, won't touch any other, won't buy an Xbox because they hate it so much. But you and I own PlayStations and consoles, an Xbox, and we have PCs. Oh my gosh,
absolutely.
it's so harder.
It's true, and it's just like it's just the rabid fanboys all defend it, and I find that Microsoft has an easy case. It's just political affairs, the eye-watering number behind the deal. You'd be stupid as a regulator not to do what you're doing in that sense, because it's a political affair. Lena Khan's trying to make a legacy here. She cannot ignore this. Microsoft, I think the deal will go through. I think Bobby Kotick is as weird as he is, or as horrible, whatever, if he's guilty for all the things that he's done. He's whatever. But one thing he did say, was, I don't think it's him, it's just HR PR team. They were quite cleverly pushed out that email saying to everyone, to the staff, so CMA made the things. It's all part normal. By the way, we're getting ready to. So in the run up of the few weeks, you're going to get some emails, some induction emails to get ready, about assimilating into Microsoft. Basically, is what they're alluding to. That was a very that pissed some ponies off, because they're like, what? Bobby Kotick's already started telling his staff to get ready to move to Microsoft offices. What is going on?
But there's the flip side. There's the flip side of that. Did you hear that they're reporting that if the deal doesn't go through, if the deal gets blocked, Kotick is staying. I just call him Kotick. Kotick is staying. He's staying on as CEO of Activision Blizzard.
You think these fanboys will care? They will care. They will celebrate. And they're like, right now, they're crying about, poor staff. Bobby Kotick is going to get a massive payout. Microsoft, this is who they're in bed with. And then they're like, cancel the deal. And Bobby stays. And they're like, yeah. And then you ask them, what about Bobby saying, shut the flip up. Xbox.
The 10,000 employees or whatever it is are
they don't care.
They don't care.
They don't care.
Let me read Hargeet's.
Fanboys do not care. The consolidation crew do not give a damn about the welfare of their staff. They just want Xbox to flop. Anyone who thinks otherwise, I have a pyramid to sell you in my pants. That makes no sense.
A pyramid of khaki pants. From afar, it looks like a legit pyramid, but when you get really close, it's all of Gaz's khaki pants he bought in the early 90s. Bless you for your pyramid of pants, Gaz. I'm going to have to make a meme about the pyramid of pants and flip through that picture while I'm at a funeral. Be fantastic. I'm going to read Hargeet Chani's brand new super chat. Then I'm going to get back up to the top where I need to catch up, because Hargeet went ahead and did the math for us. This is fantastic. Hargeet did the math. If 25% of PlayStation customers backed off, didn't buy a PlayStation 5, and didn't subscribe to PS Plus to play online for Call of Duty, he says, and I quote, roughly $100 million that PlayStation wouldn't make from Call of Duty directly. There's also potential for losing PS Plus subs. That could be an additional 50 to 100 million. Rough numbers. Now, he's just doing rough numbers based on how much we think Call of Duty makes. There's a profit margin. There's the portion that comes out. How much does it cost for how many certain users? 25% users. All of those have to be subscribed to PS Plus. I like Hargeet's math here. So he's saying up to close to $150 to $200 million that would come in every year that they would lose just for Call of Duty remaining multi-plat but going to Game Pass. What do you think, guys? Does that sound reasonable? It could be more.
Hoggy and numbers scare me. After the whole
He's a smart.
He's better at numbers than me.
He's smart.
Yeah, he's intelligent.
He went to Harvard.
He did. But I don't know about the numbers. Like, I'm not a massive numbers guy, as you've probably seen. Like, all I know is, on the face of it, that deal is going to disrupt their earnings. Call of Duty that's what they're scared. The evidence is there. Like, apart from the numbers and the charts, everything, it's Sony. Look at them.
Yeah.
Jim Ryan's got massive carpet burns for what? Like, he obviously doesn't want that deal to go through.
Flying to Brussels. Well, I mean, Hargate's math's got to be pretty decent, because you take 150 million users on PlayStation. It's a $70 game, but they take 30%. PS Plus is this much per year. He just kind of crunched those numbers, so I trust his numbers are probably pretty close. I'll fly with him for now. Pixelbit G, I wanted to read this one earlier. He says, Spawn, darn it. Spawn, a Spawn video game on Xbox.
Spawn has actually had associations with Xbox. If you remember Soul Calibur, Xbox got Spawn, and I think PlayStation got Darth Vader. And Spawn has like always had this kind of loose connection with Xbox. But Spawn, I used to love it, by the way. The guy who created it, what's his name? He directed the Corn Freak on a Leash video. What's wrong? I used to watch the stuff. That's good. But I think Xbox needs to branch out beyond just Spawn or a comic hero book. Man, like they're like even the DC stuff. I've got a video in the works, and I'm not going to eat into my video because there's a lot going into it. Mm-hmm. But it's so exciting. There's so much stuff in comic books that I don't know about. My friend is sharing with me, and I'm like, yo, that stuff is dark. That stuff is amazing. That's not even in cinema. Like, that dark. The darkest thing we got was, what, Deadpool, Logan, maybe for some of the Batman movies, but they weren't dark. Or The Watchmen was really good. That was dark. But you got The Boys. That's quite dark, but in a different way. There's so much scope. And what I'm hearing, that PlayStation is actually going to double down on this. I was just like, oh, why'd you tell me this? I don't want this. I want Xbox to fight on this corner. They need to enter into licensing. Phil Spencer, if you're listening to me, just do it. Just go and sit down. Wonder Woman, just cry. I don't care. Doesn't matter. Get that licensing agreement. Forget what you said before. You know what the dream would be? Marvel, PlayStation, DC, Xbox. Boom. Holy.
They need to do that.
Oh my God. Can you imagine the console war combined with the Marvel stands and versus
it just
the
makes
DC
sense.
stand? Oh, it would be amazing.
6 million ways to die.
Yeah. PC, Xbox, let's go PC. Not PC. PC and Xbox.
PC's for losers. No, I'm just kidding. Your baby Farva, thank you for the $2 super. He says, don't Sony now have marketing deals with WB games? Yeah, on a game-by-game basis. Xbox marketed Middle-earth Shadow of War, and that was a WB game. I'm pretty sure. But so, no, I mean, it's not an exclusive thing, but they'll try. PlayStation sure likes to spend that money, and Xbox is like, let me just get my debit card out. Right? Dark CMA, thank you for the... Sorry. Yeah, Jim Ryan's like, okay, I'll wait. Yeah, just go ahead and take your wallet out. I'll wait. Well, meanwhile, like, cash is just flying out of his Docker slacks with the pleats, because you know that's how Jim Ryan rolls. Dark CMF with the $5 super says, Microsoft did create this environment. Remember Matt Booty telling us how he couldn't fit everything for 2023 into the 2023 Excel spreadsheet. He said, we are watching and waiting.
Watching, waiting, commiserating, say it's up, I was like,
Xbox has no games for the game show. Jeremy Riddle with the $5 says, AVP2 was the best game of that was Aliens versus Predator 2 was the amazing. Best game of my childhood. Just recently got that on my laptop. Hooked it up to my TV. It seriously needs a remake. Glad Gaz said it.
Facts. AVP 2 was amazing. Bro, you had 3 games in one. You could... Bro, you picked the game where you started Alien. You started off as a face hugger. I think you went to a human being. You manually burst out of stomach, which is disgusting, as a little worm thing. Then you start eating bigger animals like a cat, and you start turning into a xenomorph. And it was xenomorph feeds off cats, and it just become bigger and bigger. And they can climb more walls. It was so disconcerting, and it just 360-degree cover. It was amazing.
What generation, or was that? Was that an Xbox 360 PS3 generation game?
That might be even Xbox Classic PS2 gen. Let me double check.
He's saying it seriously needs a remake. It probably looks. Yeah.
No, mate, it definitely needs a remake. Oh, that would be amazing. It's such a good game. They were so good. Even the humans were well thought out. The Predator was sick. Damn it, not the movies, you piece of... Okay, well, find out. Anyway. Yeah. Cole, is it possible for you to do a poll?
Of course.
Because chat was going a bit...
Oh, chat's moving.
Okay. Chat was saying, Hihachi, what are you talking about, Infinite? Can you do a poll, say DC to Xbox or Marvel to Xbox?
Hold on. I asked before. I'll have you repeat that so I can write it. I asked who is the victim in the ABK merger. 37% said Xbox, 26% said PlayStation, and 37% said the fans are the victim.
Wow.
Which is really weird, though, because saying who is the victim, you could take it in two different directions. So I can see why it is completely split. I mean, in that poll,
fans are the real victims. Like we could have saved another $70, chat, this winter. Well, if it was biennial, we wouldn't be paying for it. But yeah, like we would have. And like,
I'll buy it, guys.
Man.
I'll get it. Let me.
No, I'll get it, man.
No, let me get it. Oh shoot! I had my card in here. I think I left it. I picked up my dog. He got a haircut. Must have dropped it. Dang! What's the poll?
The poll is
ADD.
Xbox,
you don't remember, do you?
Xbox against Marvel or Xbox against DC? I remember.
Okay. You want me to? How do I write that? How do you want me to write that?
I swear it was Darth
You want me to
Vader
ask?
for PlayStation.
You want me to ask? Should Xbox get Marvel or DC?
No. So okay. Well, you don't have to do that now. It's past the conversation. But people would chat. I was like, oh, if it's DC versus Marvel and they've aligned with a certain brand, that would be amazing. Warner Brothers are up right for the taking. Microsoft should get into licensing agreements with them. But yeah, well, let's see what happens. Xbox 2023 is fire. I voted no.
I love it when Dealer does that on RDX. He says he likes to weed out the non Xbox fans. So just write, is Xbox awesome? And then he'll hit the poll. And then he'll see like 8% of you guys are morons. He's so funny. This is a great one. So Rare tweeted out yesterday or the day before, fan favorite Banjo Kazooie Nuts and Bolts is available to enjoy wherever you please via Rare Replay. Just felt compelled to remind everyone. That's all, not prompted by anything in particular. Why would you tweet that, guys? Why?
Because Xbox has no games.
Everyone wants that Banjo.
Everyone wants Banjo, but I guarantee you, if Banjo comes out, no one's gonna buy it, or hardly anyone's gonna play it. I
like that ukulele. Yeah, they're like, oh wow, I've been waiting for. Oh wow, I waited for. Oh my gosh, it's so hard. I finally got Banjo Kazooie. Oh my gosh.
What are you doing with your hands?
He always like, oh my gosh. He always hits table. Oh my gosh, it's so hard. Banjo Kazooie's finally coming out. Who is it in the chat? Sutness said, I tried Nuts and Bolts last night. He said, it was so hot. He said, it looks so good. Yeah, but when I play Banjo Kazooie, I think Banjo Kazooie came out like 2000.
Nintendo 64, yeah.
Or 98 or something. When I play, it's like.
Cameras.
And he's like, and the character's like. and like, bloop, 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 and he's like, oh, you and the character's like,
hey, did you watch chat the double?
You know what I want? I want this kind of Banjo Kazooie, we're gonna mess stuff up.
That's Conker, man.
Oh, Conker. Oh, gosh.
The best idea for all these mascots is what Miles Dompierre actually said a while ago, which is the mega platformer franchise. Do a mashup. Can you imagine Banjo? Can you imagine Conker? Well, to a lesser degree, they have all these mascots.
It's Super Lucky's
Crash,
Tale.
Spyro, Blinks if you want. They got Hi-Fi Rush's suite of characters now. They've got quite a few. So you've got all these characters. The previous PlayStation mascot, Crash, is now belonging to Xbox. There's so much you can do with that mega platformer, massive world. There's a lot there. They'd be stupid to not to do anything like that. And then there's opportunities for other stuff, like obviously kart races and.
Listen, Xbox fans. Listen, Xbox fans, especially you, Special Nick in Paris. I'm going to say this one time. If you want Banjo Kazooie back and you want an Xbox studio to bust their balls on it, don't have an Xbox studio do it. Get Sumo Digital, the team that made Sackboy Big Adventure. Have them take it and it'll be amazing. And then I'll sign off on it. But you should see the mountain of letters I've sent Rare and Double Fine and Phil Spencer to keep them away from the Banjo franchise. Because in my opinion, Xbox needs B.A. Baracus, amazing, mature, story-based, powerful character games before they start working on the font going across one. Seriously, I know I come off as a hater, but Xbox needs that first. They need that big, powerful, like we talked about with the Coalition. They need that big, dark, mature Gears game or that new IP before they even start working on Banjo.
Agree with you fully. Xbox was building a name for itself and an image at that time when it started being the bad boy of that hardcore PC crowd. Unreal Championship, Leandri Conflict. Who remembers that in chat? Leandri Conflict on Xbox was a first-person / third-person hybrid shooter from Unreal Tournament on Xbox, on console, online, but principally online. This console was unashamedly for the hardcore gamer, and now they're going the mass market, and that's fine. You've got Double Fine. They can do all the funny stuff. Rare, Everwild, go do that. But you need the mature games. That's the identity of Xbox. You deliver that, and I guarantee you start build a name for it. The marketing pays for itself. Microsoft is so ashamed of its bro dude image. Because
they are.
Yeah, but Halo, Gears, Forza, it was only two. The bro dude was just condensed to 2 lines of these 2 IPs. But now you've got all these studios. Do you know Microsoft, if you want to get the attention of the masses, this might sound counterintuitive, but I'm telling you, the medium and the audience want something more. Elden Ring showed you that. Elden Ring showed the world that people are desperate for something more, something different, something more mature. And Microsoft, if they go ahead and go double down on the mature element of it, it will bring back that image of Microsoft. This is not for kids. This is dark. This is the kind of stuff that people want to play.
The console doesn't have to be. The console doesn't have to be for something
I think it does. If
Xbox has the mature games. Perfect Dark is going to be very mature, and they have some mature games, but Xbox wants to offer everything. They want the small mega hit. They want the big thing.
Game Pass. They've got all of that, but focus on your strengths.
But they're just missing.
DNA is on that.
Like Cognito said, they're missing that just one, and they really are missing it right now. And that's why I said, I know you and I argued about Gears. If Gears was an open RPG third-person shooter where you kind of moved around the world, I know people are open world games, but man, I'm having so much fun with Hargeet's Legacy.
Yeah, no way. I disagree with you about Gears.
I know. I was going back listening to our show, and you guys can check out the show. There's timestamps from last week. Gaz painted a really great, mature Gears linear game. You know what I want, Gaz? When I was listening to you talk about Gears last week, I thought, rip off half of it from Dead Space, where you're in this big area and you kind of have to double back and get access to different areas instead of pushing through some different maps like you used to do on the 360. Like make it this big, massive area where there's a little bit of Metroidvania, just a little bit. Because I think Dead Space does that well. You don't have to backtrack. You're not blocked out of major areas too much. Blah, blah, blah. We can talk about it for. Let me grab some supers.
Yeah, I think that, I want to talk about that. But yes, grab your supers.
Yeah. I mean, dude, you're really on to something. And we'll give props to Special Nick for coming up with the idea first.
No, he didn't. No, he didn't. Special Nick came up with that idea. I've been saying on the internet for years.
I know.
Shut up, Nick. Piece of...
Hey, you be nice. Or this is your last couple shows. And that's it. Hey, AJH with the 2 pound super says, Spawn would be cheap for Xbox and an X-Man game Bleeding Edge style.
Bleeding Edge style? Who the so annoying. Dude did it on purpose, didn't he?
Yeah.
Bleeding
well,
Edge
I mean,
style.
I don't want an arena style melee based game, but
Just next super chat. Please. That pissed me off.
I mean, that was what worried me about Hi-Fi Rush. I thought it was going to be a rhythm-based brawler that you were in a multiplayer arena, and then it turns out to be a fantastic game. Poochie, with member for 20 months, says Xbox is responsible for our PTSD. They have to start showing up. Absolutely,
they always do that. That's the nature of being an Xbox fan. You never relax.
Please, sir, spike me again, please. Highlander with the $5 says, the problem with Bobby Kotick is he owns most of all voting shares, so every voting shareholder and the board of directors could not vote him out. Yikes. Somebody just take his keys and throw him in the parking lot and go get him. Screen name, $10. Thank you for the $10. Says, your info is just a little off, Gaz. Xbox got Spawn for SC2.
Soul Calibur 2.
Okay, Soul Calibur 2. And PlayStation got the Tekken guy, and Nintendo got Link. In Soul Calibur 4, Xbox got Today, and PlayStation got, I don't know why he said Today. Who did Xbox get for Soul Calibur 4? He says PlayStation got Darth Vader. I think you were talking about that on the show.
PlayStation got Yoda. No, Xbox got Yoda. PlayStation got Darth Vader. That's what he meant.
That's what he meant to write.
Okay. Yeah.
And he says, anyway, keep growing. And he wants you to grow better as a person. Never make a mistake again, Gaz. But yeah, you were close. You're close enough. Sotness with the $2 says, I'm glad Rare did a new idea like Sea of Thieves. And I normally wouldn't have agreed with him before, but the game's pretty cool. And I just thought, just my luck that Rare would actually be teasing a new Banjo Kazooie and put Everwild on the shelf. Hit it.
Yeah.
You probably don't have the button on there anymore, do you? For that song.
And then I've also got this one.
Oh my god.
That's from Play Xbox.
Dub, who's been a member for 19 months, says if the deal goes through, definitely let Toys for Bob handle Banjo. Now, that's the team that makes Crash Bandicoot 4 and some of the other Crash Bandicoot related games now. He said with Activision, they would have enough studio talent to do Banjo and a more mature title. And I agree, Dub. Toys for Bob handles a modern Crash game pretty well. Like you were playing Crash 4 a few months ago, and I played it when it came out, and it's really good. It's just kind of rooted in that 1998 thing, but if the feels there, the feels there, right? In Toys for Bob's Crash, right? It feels good. Maya Kong, thank you for the Canadian $2.79. Says, I will miss you guys. Auto-tune, please.
The auto-tune fun.
Why?
How?
I have to normalize it. I have to praise
how
them.
fitting that you try to sing Michael Jackson and you go chipmunk.
Oh, that's so bad. Got your nose. This is what happens when you
Got your nose.
Remember that from South Park? Got your nose.
Oh no. Nintendon, the Otaku, thank you for the $5. Says hardcore games are cute, but are they gonna sell 40+ million like Animal Crossing? Nope. Please bring back Viva Pinata. Oh, he's so right. The Animal Crossing is gigantic. People really want Viva Pinata. I haven't messed around that longer in a couple hours. I kind of I'm not interested anymore, but people love it. Gaz, you have anything to say about Viva Pinata? Nope. Good.
Yeah, good. I'm listening to Special Nick has DM'd me.
Yes.
His Xbox era interview thing, and Seamus Blackley as
The father of Xbox.
Like Bobby Kotick called him a bad word, a slur for gay people. That can't repeat.
Bobby called Seamus Blackley a bad word?
Even Seamus actually uses the word. He says it out loud in this Xbox era as AKA
Bobby
era
insulted Seamus?
Oh,
they were probably talking. Seamus knows his way around politics and everything.
No, but he literally just said it. That's what Bobby called him and said that. I was like, wow.
Can we cancel Bobby? I mean, now that would be somebody.
Bobby's not cancelable. He's too rich to be canceled. Those guys don't care. They have immunity. He's gonna get. Oh.
Shut it off. AO Everything says, with the $10 super says, you guys remember the Xbox exclusive Armed and Dangerous? If so, I would love for Xbox to remake that game. The game is a classic.
Armed and Dangerous. I played the shit of it, I swear.
Xbox has dope games. They can revise them and put them on Game Pass. They just need studios to do it. I don't remember Armed and Dangerous at all.
It's calling me. I feel it. It's sad me. I don't want to buy it. You stupid.
Splendiferous with the $2 says, Cole, I think this is personal. Let him get it off.
I remember this game. It was okay.
Armed and Dangerous?
It was not that good. Remember the game though. Yeah.
Jonas the Dad, thank you for the $2 super says, Xbox needs a kart racer and a fighter with Xbox IPs.
Fighter, definitely. Ed Boon, make that Killer Instinct game happen. But yeah, God, Bobby Kotick was a piece of crap, wasn't he? He's like that quintessentially evil
You're
person.
all over the board.
Head corpo guy. He's the reason why I hated ABK so many times. They killed Blizzard so badly. Anyway, sorry, next topic.
Thank you to Spartan661 for a $5 super. You may have meant to ask a question, but go ahead and hopefully my moderators will catch it. If you had a question, you don't need to send another one of those. We'll keep an eye out for it. The last, just before the show started, guys, we were talking about how sales are way down for Xbox because they didn't have any big games. And one of the major problems is that they're selling the Series S. They're trying to sell it. They price dropped it to $250 in the US, probably about the same for you in the UK. And they have more than they had for demand. And really, in the grand scheme of things, they just really aren't making Series X's. So I'm going to ask the chat, please be very vocal and write the answer in the chat, and I'll keep an eye on it as it goes. But guys, have you seen a Series X at a store? Because they've been out almost 2 years, and I've never seen one in my entire life sitting on a store shelf, ever.
They're readily available. They've been readily available.
In the UK?
In the UK, for ages, almost a year, if not more than a year. You just type in Xbox Series X, you can get it. I'll do it right now, and I'll get it. And I'm pretty sure PlayStation, I probably won't get. I'm on Amazon right now. Xbox Series X. Yep, I can buy it £449. PlayStation 5.
Oh, and I should also say that I was looking on all the major retailers online, and they either have them up $100 to $150 above retail MSRP, or it's a $50 up with the Forza Horizon 5 bundle, but that's not available right now until like 12 days from now. You can put down a purchase on one and get it shipping. So Best Buy, if you're in the US, if you're watching the show here in the US, I'll say Best Buy, Target, Walmart, Amazon in North America, and what's one more? Walmart. None of them have, even GameSpot, none of them have a $499, a $500 Xbox Series X ready to click, add to your cart. Still to this day. And how far into the generation are we? I can't even think. 2 years?
It's because why would they stock something no one wants?
Gas!
Your noise gate, you cut in and all I heard was
I need to listen back to the show because I think for some reason on your end,
my
like
end
if I do this, can you hear it? I don't have a
I'm
noise
gonna
gate
hear-
on. That's so weird. It's probably
Okay.
Discord on your end. But I'm
Yeah.
going to start a poll. Wherever you live, can
Oh,
you
you're right. You're
find
right.
a
It is. I heard it on
Xbox?
the stream.
Okay.
I heard you say gas coffee on the stream. Sorry.
Okay. Yeah, that's
look-
weird. Well, I'm glad it works on the show. Who cares about your Discord? Can you find an Xbox Series X? Now, this poll means, can you find one online? Can you go and click one for regular price? Can you just add one to your cart? And then in the chat, let us know whereabouts you live. Because like people are like, well, they're all over the place in the UK. And they're like, in Canada, they're all over the place. Or I live in Tennessee and you can find one everywhere, forever. But I live in Washington State and I don't go to the store that often. But every time I go by the electronics section, no PS5s, no Xbox Series X's. Sometimes I see a Series S, but even that can be rare. I don't know. I don't know why. Why does it matter? But there's a problem, Gaz. Xbox is not making any Series X's. I really feel like
Man,
they
no
aren't.
one wants them. Come on, bruh. Like they've got. I'll be very surprised, bro. Let's see what the poll. 115 people. 68% of them have said they can find a Series X. Most of your audience is going to be American.
I mean, I live in a big enough city, but I was talking to someone before the show about how Xbox is betting so hard on the Series S, but shouldn't they be pushing the $500 console? Because PlayStation's having no problem selling that $500 price point. And then you get the better experience. You get bigger storage. You get better performance. You get...
What do you mean Microsoft's not pushing it? Like, what more do they want them to do?
Well, maybe... No, I mean, the person I was talking to felt like that I felt that Xbox isn't manufacturing enough Series X's, that they're putting most of their chip manufacturing into S's. But now, as I put out a tweet 3 hours ago, people were like, what are you talking about? They're everywhere. And I'm like,
Yeah.
is there something going on in Washington State where they're just not...
Maybe it's
I don't
just
know,
you.
maybe.
It's a you. Maybe it's a you problem because really, I don't think it's Xbox has been readily available here in the UK for ages. It's just not selling. Even the Series S with the price cut wasn't selling that much. Like
Not really at all.
and that's the problem. If we're
There's
going to
two
start
reasons.
seeing, what's the two reasons?
The two reasons is they didn't give any compelling run out and go get this reason for over a year.
But I thought
What
you
was
said
it?
people only care about multiplats.
I didn't say that. What was PlayStation's quote? Hold on, let me grab it. CMA said 88% of users buy PlayStation due to the availability of one or more games. And Xbox hasn't had anything really super compelling since Halo Infinite came out. Halo Infinite came out.
So does that quote mean exclusives or is that one or more game Call of Duty or is it something else?
What were the I need an Xbox games that came out in 2022? Elden Ring. That's it.
That's it. Yeah.
What were the big games in 2022 that said I need to get an Xbox? I want to start gaming like everyone else is. Elden Ring, Halo Infinite had just come out, and then the rest
Not
of the year,
2021, but yeah.
nobody's running out to get Tiny Tina's Big Adventure or whatever it's called. I love that Tiny Tina's whatever it's called. I love that game.
Yeah.
But what were the big games, chat? Guess what were the big games last year in 2022? Until Call of Duty came out.
Nothing. It's just Elden Ring.
I played a bunch of stuff, but I also spent almost half of 2022 playing MLB and Grounded. And I didn't even look around me. There wasn't anything that I needed to play. I was having time of my life. Brian Wilson says not much. So that's number one. Number two is you need those big games. You need that big to get people to buy an Xbox. You do need exclusive content because the number two is you don't need an Xbox. And that is a big thing. You don't need an Xbox. If Starfield comes out and it is like, everyone's like, you have to play this game. how many Xbox consoles are you going to sell when everyone knows, well, I can play it on PC and I can play it on one of my devices. I don't have to have an Xbox, but when God of War Ragnarok comes out, there's only one place to play it on that $550 PS5.
That's
You
why
see
I
the
like
difference.
Sony's strategy. I like Sony's strategy. I always like that you value the console
But
owner.
what does the console sale mean to you? Why does that matter? If PlayStation's like, we made it so you have to buy the console. What does that matter for you? You already bought the
a
console.
strategy.
It actually works the other way around, Gaz, because now you have to shell out a certain purchase to play a game.
No, as a business model, I prefer Sony's model. I absolutely do. Because Sony's model actually ensures the longevity of a console in this space more than anyone else, other than Nintendo. From the big guys, it makes sense because PC guys will say, well, it will come to PC eventually, minimum a year wait. But I've always preferred PlayStation's thing because you haven't reduced the value proposition of your console. And Xbox has this, we are everywhere, which is nice for, I guess, consumer, but I'm not even seeing, like, I'm old school, man. Put some respect on the console's name. Put the respect on the
there's
Xbox's
a problem
name.
with that. There's a problem with the hardware team right now is like
Xbox, a hardware team. It's so stupid. Is anyone else pissed off at the bullshit excuses we have to always put up?
Yeah.
With Xbox. Oh, the hardware team. Oh, the tools. Oh, the studios. Oh, this. Oh, it was COVID. Oh, some bullshit. Oh, we had a 12-month plan, but the games can't release in 12 months. Oh, yeah, but it's fine. It's so pathetic, man. Xbox is so like this. Third place, it deserves third place the way it carries on like that. Hardware should have not been a loss. So don't give me the tools excuse, not you, but just let people go, the tools is bullshit. It's an L. I don't want make excuses on the hardware, on software, on advertising. Advertising, you can't advertise. You got freaking Redfall. How many ads have you seen? It's coming out in a couple of months. Marchers think the game Starfield is going to drop next month. Like, they're so convinced the game's coming out next month that you
can't get a tweet out of the Starfield Twitter account. Nothing. You can't squeeze one out of them. The other problem with the console,
massive PlayStations in Saudi Arabia, big giant ones, making a spectacle. Mass market, you want to talk about it? Here it is, this big PlayStation in Jeddah, of all places, with a laser coming out of it, like everywhere. Pervasive marketing. These guys are poor, right? Like, what the hell are you doing? It's just so frustrating as an Xbox fan to sit here and always make excuses. We don't do that, but we try to like understand what's going on. And it's just so annoying. Like, why is the sales not coming out? Or they're not producing anything. No, they're just not getting their act together. Get the games. That's the start off there. Deliver the games this year. Show us what your roadmap is at E3. Show us these games.
The only marketing Xbox has had to push their consoles is the ABK nonsense. All the dirty laundry and all of the backbiting because of ABK. That's been the only thing that has pushed Xbox into the forefront of the news cycle. They haven't had games to market. They are not selling consoles because you don't need one, and they don't have any games to sell it on yet for the past year. But now they do. And I feel like Xbox is cowering down and wilting into a little flower. Oh, we don't want to, boast and spend money when we're dealing with this Activision. We've got these regulators breathing down our neck. Oh my gosh, it's ridiculous. Igor Bastos with the 2790 Rupel says,
like, gas complaints all the time. It's just like, these people just want excuses. Like, when someone, like I said at the start, I'm happy with the games, but don't bring power. Because that's an L. You're going to bring excuses. So then I don't have time for that. Why would you have time for 2 years into the gen? Into it? Like, that's it. Like, Nelson, because guys complains all the time. Because the people like you, Xbox could just deliver bullshit. You would just take it. Like, Xbox, like, we've been doing this for day zero with Xbox. So this year, you have to have the attitude more.
It's not that hard to shout. It's not that hard to shout your products from the rooftop and market them and have them pervasive in the media and in the news cycle and marketing cycle. So we see Nintendo and PlayStation do it all the time, and it's very glaring as an Xbox. And I know you guys think we're complaining too much, but it is so important to when you see the comparison is a thief of joy, but when you see the competition talking about their stuff all the time and getting ready to share things, and Xbox is just sitting down quietly and trying to hide from everything, it's not the time to do it.
I mean, this is the year. Even PlayStation. What does PlayStation have this year?
Xbox is
Final
king
Fantasy.
over PlayStation this year. Let me just say that. Like, you guys think Gaz and I complain too much. We are very aware that Xbox is 2020. You even made a great video about this last week. Xbox's year lords over PlayStation in many, many ways. PlayStation is relying on Final Fantasy 16, which is going to be a massive game. Spider-Man is going to be one of the biggest games of the year. Starfield will be the most talked about game of the year. Forza will be the king of racers this year. Redfall will be fantastic. They've got a ton of indie great games coming.
And
They've got
Stalker
Stalker
and
2
Atomic
coming.
Heart.
Yeah, it's just
There's no
like
marketing
great
for
stuff.
Anything. So on the marketing front, you think Xbox is doing like what the masses going to know? Where is the mass market advertising for all this in 2023? They can't even do anything. And some people are like, oh, it's because of the ABK deal. Oh, the ABK deal is the reason why your business fails. Is because you can't advertise your game. Like, how marches? Why are they even a thing? You would have said, well, surely Microsoft's going to advertise Starfield, right? Starfield is the biggest game on Xbox in the recent years, coming and past. What's coming close to Starfield?
Well, I mean, I can see pretty plainly that Starfield, they are hunkering down and hiding Starfield right now because they want to save all of the pomp and circumstance for the developer direct that's probably next month. I don't agree with them doing that. I think like the Forza team should be sharing out screenshots in engine of Forza Motorsport coming this year instead of every day they're putting out something from Forza 7. So it's like, just make some changes. You got a lot to be excited about. And you hear our voice. Xbox, you hear us. Get excited. Be confident. Let me read these supers here. We got one from Igor Bastos who says, thank you. He says, just want to say two things. It's so hot here. And let us go. And I love it. I love it. We love the memes. We embrace them. Malcolm, LAX3, thank you for the $2 super. And Spartan661 says, Colt 45, the shirt, Colt 45, and Zig Gaz. Let me just roll the Zig Gaz real quick.
What?
I love it. Danny Passionate Phil. That's a good name for you, Zig Gaz, instead of zigzag. I like it. Zigzags. Come on, Gaz. I think we got it. We got it. What would I know? What my dog's done more than I have in life. Danny Passion Official with the $2 super. I love the reaction. He says, Gaz, Xbox Series X and S isn't respect enough for the console. Danny's funny. I don't know, Danny. I love Danny. Highlander 0001. Thank you for the $2. Says, we are not complaining enough. And I'm sorry for those that don't like the complaining. We are asking for better. And it's not even a complaint. It's just basically saying what is Xbox is doing. Yeah, this is not a PlayStation like Human Centipede podcast. This is XNC where we talk about it, like where people might have a chance. Someone from Xbox is listening, so you can understand the frustrations of people. Like, we are the core fans. Like, if we can't be excited, no one can be excited. And we genuinely are, like I said, it's great. Like, there's loads of games, but you're still messing up. Like, what? Forza, you made a great point. You've showed the game now. You've showed so much gameplay. Mm-hmm. Just have a persistent marketing campaign. Show us a screenshot of a car, engine bay. That's it.
Tech,
that's how easy it is. Just once a week, pick
lapse.
like a theme. Like you said, interior engine shot with ray tracing. That'll be a tweet. That tweet would explode. People get so excited. Show one of the tracks. Here's the Porsche car on one of the tracks that you haven't seen yet. Or maybe even if you're not ready for that, here's the car we already showcased, the Porsche, the new Porsche, whatever it's called. Forgot I did the video on it. Here it is on one of the tracks we've already shown. Here's an in-game screenshot. That tweet would blow up. That would get people excited, people talking. Quit hiding, Xbox. You've got way cool stuff. Digital Nuke, thank you for the 5, says, thoughts on Xbox pulling a PlayStation bundle with Forza Horizon 5? Hiding a price hike behind a game otherwise on Game Pass and a game we've all played at this point. What do you think about that, Gaz? Because we haven't talked about how the Forza Horizon 5 bundle with Hot Wheels, which is a $80 or $90 bundle when it was brand new. Might have been. Is included. That's the only way right now you can easily get a Series X. Is it having that bundled there, and that's kind of how they're hiding the eventual price hike.
Oh wow! So you're saying the price hike is coming over here, but in the form
That's not true because didn't God of War come with the $400 or $550 bundle, or is it more? Let me look while you're talking.
Okay. Well, you pay for the price of the game, but the bundle is $6.50 in Canada.
Yeah, no, they didn't. They price hiked the PS5 $60, but it comes with the brand new God of War Ragnarok.
Every week they spend more time expressing their frustrations than talking about games. Relski, here's a... That's not true. We've been massively hyping about games, but Relski, here's an idea.
We did for about 20 minutes, but it was warranted.
If you don't want to hear it, go somewhere else. Go talk about games, which we do all the time. We talked about Hogwarts. What do you want? What game do you want to talk about? Relski in chat.
How about this?
Podcast. Tell us what you want to talk about.
Malcolm says...
People at ABK.
Malcolm says, for $2, are you guys excited about Atomic Hearts? What are you expecting, guys?
So, when we saw the vertical slice of that game, there were some concerns that this was one of those games where the vertical slice is a bit disingenuous to the actual gameplay. Now we've seen longer gameplay. It looks pretty proficient. It looks quite good. It looks really like this might actually keep up with those vertical slices. So I'm really excited about Atomic Heart. It's a bit hard for me to get excited about Atomic Heart when Stalker is there, because that's kind of battling.
They're months apart,
my attention. They are months apart, but Atomic Heart's going to be great. I don't want to be too high in my expectations, just so I don't want to be disappointed. A lot of people are really hyped based on that. But my years in this space, I've seen vertical slices like that. They don't always translate.
I mean, there's been a lot. They had that 60-minute gameplay clip you and I looked at. Can I give my opinion on Atomic Hearts?
No.
Okay.
Of course you can.
Moving on. I'm a bit worried that it's going to be too frenetic, too crazy, and very, 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 very challenging. And I'm afraid that I'll get into it. I'm like, oh my gosh, this game's really difficult, because it looks like they throw a lot at you, and I've heard that it's very, very challenging. I'm hoping that it doesn't just beat me down to a pulp, but it has those Dying Light 1 vibes. It's semi-open world. It's got that BioShock thing going. It's got that crazy, weird, European or Russian flavor to it, and a techno.
Yeah,
so it's just crazy. It's kind of
it's a pretty wild game, and that's why I like. I don't want to. It's one of those games I see the reviews and just
hug, bro. Hug. You need a hug, bro. Come here. Just bring it in. Let me hold your butt. Let me we got another one from Red Wolf who says Wild Hearts has a 10-hour trial available now. It's not what I expected, and it's absolutely fantastic so far. I highly recommend everyone trying it out. And this is the Monster Hunter World ripoff, I think, if I'm right. From what I saw, I think it was this new game that came out of nowhere, Wild Hearts. 10-hour trial. I don't know where you can get the 10-hour trial, but have you seen it, Gaz? Jess is playing it today.
I've seen the gameplay. Yeah, I saw it. Share the clip of it. Yeah, I don't. Oh my god, so many. That's
Tim Brewster in the chat asked about Wanted Dead, which I just discovered today, and you saw it last week. Third-person melee-based cyberpunk cop with swords or something.
Yeah. It's a crazy one. Someone referred it to me when I was saying, wouldn't it be nice if it was a game like the Raid movies, Raid Redemption and Raid 2, but with Sifu, but with guns, and someone put Wanted Dead up there. And it is a cyberpunk, like how you described it, cyberpunk martial arts game with guns. It's pretty crazy. Almost reminds me of a game called Oni by Bungie. No less. Years ago.
Wanted Dead looks cool. I just discovered today. Like I said, Hargeet says Wild Hearts is an EA game. I didn't even realize that. So he said it's part of the Game Pass 10-hour trial that you'll have access to. So I'm looking at that. I'm like, am I going to download it? I'm like, in the middle of Hogwarts and Atomic Heart's coming. Like, am I even going to get to it? It's crazy. Yeah, and Midlander says, bro, I'm not even finished with Hi-Fi Rush. Come on, man. Come on, let us compete.
Yeah, Hi-Fi Rush is it's a lot longer than people said it was. 6 hours. You lied.
No. That was what the PlayStation guys were sharing around. 6 hours to beat it. And you go and search how long does it take to beat Hi-Fi Rush, and it says 12 hours. Says some people will take 16 to try and do most of the content. Dead Planet, thank you for the $5. Says, I want Xbox to come out and say, this is what we are. We're making games for a future it's being built on. Instead of they make fans to fill the gaps. So hot in here. Sorry, Dead, I shouldn't have read that in Bo's voice. Yes, he says, this is what we are. Our games are building the future to be built on. Instead, they make fans fill in the gaps. Yeah, I mean, I feel like we do more marketing and predictions than anybody else. Danny Passion Official with the 5, thank you, says, I built my first PC with a 4090 in December. Feels good to play mini games from Game Pass like Hitman 3, Hi-Fi Rush without having to pay a dime or a dollar. But yeah, my 4090 is way better than your dad. It's way more powerful
Pay
than
a dime
your...
for what?
Huh?
Oh, for the game extra?
Yeah, he doesn't have to because he's playing
like
these games on Game Pass.
for the graphics card alone.
So I gotta have to pay a dime for these games because my wallet's like floating away. Elemental Pio, thank you for the $2. Says Sifu is coming to Xbox, by the way, with a physical edition, as well as Ghostwire Tokyo is also coming this year. We never talk about it because it was on PlayStation. It got middling reviews.
Edition. Look. PlayStation has one too.
Bro, you even unsheathed it like a katana. Do that again. Oh, yeah. Physical edition. Malcolm with the $2 says Atomic Hearts 2, February 20th on Game Pass, but no hype. People are hyped about it. We've been here long enough. We've gone way over. It's already well into Tuesday in the UK. It's like 3:17 in the morning. I actually got 2 clocks down here. Got to show you sometime.
Man.
So I can like see what time it is for you. Yeah, it's gonna be great. I had a really good time, guys. What do we had? We had 1,500 people at one point. 1,100 people listen to us talk about games instead of complaining. RRD says, "Guys, you wait. You got to read it."
I was like, "Guys, you bastard!" I tweeted you the link. You did? I didn't see it. I don't see it. Sorry,
what link? I don't even remember. Did you guys have fun today?
Check out The Last Ronin as well. It's like some Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, but darker, futuristic. I think I have seen Last Ronin.
When you said Turtles, I was one of those that really enjoyed my time with Gotham Knights, and I thought I would love for this team to take on a Ninja Turtles game. Yeah. Because you had like the different colored characters, and I thought, oh man, he can be Donatello, this one could be Leonardo, and I thought, man, we haven't had like a mature action Turtles game in forever, and I would want that. We don't talk about the Ninja Turtles enough. But guys, I had a really good time with you on the show today. We've got a couple more left until we move on to different things. But now's your chance to tell everybody thank you and what they can watch on Game On Daily next.
Yeah, well, thank you so much for the chat. Sorry we're speaking facts and it hurt the babies, the blind Xbox. Sorry. No, it was fine. I get it. It can be a bit too much, but honestly, if you find like we're complaining, just piss off somewhere else. It makes sense.
Look, we will complain, but
just
we always have.
Else, Colt says, go away.
We always have a solution. I always want. If I complain about something, I have a better idea to replace it. So, Gaz, what are you working on, and what are you going to play?
Because I feel sorry for you. Complain too much. Daddy's like that. He's a blind expert. He just like always. You're complaining at me like when I was telling you everyone about 343. Like this is not the time. I'm like, when is the time? Well, to talk about it. Like you should be said, Gaz, I was sorry. You're right. But instead of like, this is not the time. What do you want me to do? What do you want me to do, chat? Like just give you, it's all right. Kumbaya, my lord. Kumbaya. But luckily for you, it's only 2 more episodes. You don't have to bear with me. So
Yeah, for those of you who just joined late, we talked about earlier in the show, Gaz is moving on to different things in his career and needs to not be up till 3 a.m. every single Monday night. So he is going to be doing that and focusing on that. So we will bid him adieu in a couple of shows, but we did have fun. We did have a fun time. As far as what I'm working on, once I recover from this show, I'll get timestamps up, but I'm probably working on a Fable video. I've grabbed quite a bit of good stuff, and talking about Fable would be good, wouldn't it? It'd be a nice breath of fresh air.
Chat, watch his video on Starfield. It was so good. The science of Starfield. Like, so much work went into that.
Yeah, that video did not get as many views as I'd hope, but I really liked it. I don't know if you like all that goes on in the Interstellar movie and some of the science behind if you leave this planet, what happens. Definitely give it a check out. It mixes what we know about Starfield and the science of what happens when you take off fast out into the stratosphere. But thank you, everybody, for being here on the show. We really appreciate it. This is episode 90. You can check this out, and you have checked it out on Spotify, Apple, and Google Podcasts, as well as YouTube on demand at your leisure. Thank you so much. Hit the like button on the way out. We got 700 likes. We are going to say goodbye as I grab the thing, and Gaz, as always, in his wonderful tradition, he'll say what he always says.
I'm naked again.
See you guys next week. Choose one.